All right. Hello, anybody. It is Eddie Garcia, along with Doug Stolhand, ready to bring you our second watch party of the season as the New York Rangers are taking on the Boston Bruins. Hey, Doug, how are you?
Dandy. How are you, Eddie?
Doing okay. Doing okay. There is some illness going on. Sorry about that little feedback. There's an illness going on in the Garcia house. I am just getting over something, and Mrs. Garcia, unfortunately, is now in the middle of something. So
The same something?
it appears so. Yes, it appears so. So
That's nice of you to share with her.
I mean, I wasn't intending to do that, but so
Look, the vows said for better or for worse.
That's right.
What's mine is yours.
That's true. So folks are hopefully just starting to kind of trickle in here. We have
I saw we had
five people
somebody.
watching. Yeah.
I saw we had somebody listening or watching from East Africa.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Which is a large swath of the world.
I suppose so, but
East Africa is about the size of Europe. So I'm just wondering if Kyle could narrow it down a little bit more. And Dustin Burns calling me a little dandy boy. That's been my greeting for a long time.
Jarith is also joining us. He was a late joiner inner last week. He's fresh in now this week though. He's with us here.
Hello, Jarith. Dr. Jarith.
As we get ready to check out Bruins and Rangers, and we'll see the New York debut of JT Miller as we had some wheeling and dealing this week, which we'll touch on as we go along here, but obviously talk a lot more about it on this week's Buck podcast.
Yeah, you think he'll have the J, the full name on there because of Keandre?
He could have an initial, although
I mean, why not go all that at that point?
Well, it could be K Miller and J Miller. I mean,
But I'm saying it's JT. That's your name. Like, just go JT Miller.
is it? Do we really? Is this? Who cares?
I'm just wondering. I never have understood that in my understanding. You have a big number on your back. That's the difference. That's the difference. You don't need to separate H Sedin and D Sedin. They have a number on their back to separate them.
Well, in that particular case, I could see trying to do as much as you could to differentiate those two guys because they literally are identical and their numbers are pretty similar too, 33 and 22. You know, they couldn't mix it up,
then,
you know.
Then put a blue mark on the face of one of them, and this one's
that's a good idea. That's a great idea. How about just like, you know,
I don't think if you can't tell the difference between the big 22 and 33 on the back, the chances you could tell the difference between a D and an H are probably pretty slim.
Well, I'll agree with that, but like I said, anything would help with those two in particular. That's a special case though. So yeah, hello to everyone who has joined.
Yes, Dustin Burns doing the continuing his collection of jerseys for players that are no longer on those teams, and he got himself a JT Miller Canucks skate jersey, the my preferred Canucks jersey, for $70 on clearance.
That's surprising that it's that cheap, because I've seen guys that have left the Kings and those jerseys are still pretty expensive, and not just the Kings, Steelers as well. Like, people will be selling Antonio Brown jerseys for over $100. I'm like, who the hell's buying that? But I guess somebody.
Exactly. I mean, this isn't people. I'm wondering, I would ask Dustin, was this through the Canucks official shop, or is it from a private seller? I would imagine it's from the Canucks actual shop, because I don't think a private seller would have a clearance.
So I'm still waiting for my feed to get going. It says your event is starting soon. So yeah. I'm not seeing any hockey as of yet, but once that happens, we shall be talking about what's going on the ice, as well as other hockey related things and non-hockey related things as well. I believe we have at least one other game already going on. One other game, and it is not competitive. Late in the third period in Sunrise, Florida, the Panthers are leading the Chicago Blackhawks 5-1. I'm going to guess Sam Reinhart has a goal here.
Sam Reinhart has a goal, his 30th of the year.
He does.
Matthew Tkachuk has a goal. Evan Rodriguez has a goal. Carter Verhaeghe has a goal. And someone named Jonah Gadjevich has a goal.
That's one I'm not too familiar with. If you're
I'm not familiar with the goal scorer for Chicago either. A person named Landon Slaggert.
Agreed.
He sounds like a villain from Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay.
Landon Slaggert's buying up all the land here in town. Gonna turn it into a shopping mall.
Yeah, there's a dated reference. All right. So going into
I was talking about
today,
the movie. I was talking about the movie.
Oh, wow. Did you really see that movie?
Oh, God, no.
I mean, well, let's not act like you haven't seen a lot of crappy movies.
No, but I haven't seen, there's a limit. I like nostalgia crap. I don't like I never saw the A-Team movie. I didn't see Chips movie. I'll watch old school Chips every now and then just for a laugh at how bad it was. But I'm not going to sit here and watch a 2010 version of this thing, trying to, that's not enjoyable.
No, we would be their target audience as well. And so if we're not watching that, then
right,
then they probably are in trouble. I haven't seen any of those movies made on those television shows.
Yeah, Bewitched, Dukes of Hazzard, Chips, Miami Vice, none of them.
I did see Miami Vice. I was extremely disappointed with that because Michael Mann, the guy who directed the TV show, did the movie, and I actually like a lot of his movies. And Colin Farrell and I think it was Jamie Foxx were in it. I'm like, all
That
right.
sounds right.
And it was not good. I was really surprised. It was really not good. A very young Javier Bardem played like a drug dealer in that. He was actually good, but he wasn't in it very much. Anywho, I
It
was going to
reminds me
say,
of the Bond movie that had the very young Antonio.
Benicio del
Benicio
Toro.
del Toro.
Yes, that's right. He got ground up in the gears of some mechanism, as I recall. It was his villain
Yep.
death.
Yep. Well,
So going into this game today, we have Bruins are right now the first team on the outside looking in at a playoff spot in the East. They have 56 points. They are 1 point behind the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have the number 2 wildcard spot at 57 points. And the Rangers are behind the Canadiens, Islanders, Red Wings, and Bruins. Right now, they are 5 points back of Tampa Bay for that last wildcard spot. So important game for both teams, obviously, as they all are the rest of the way for those types of teams.
this is as good a game, I think, as you can get for two non-playoff teams.
Which is why, of course, we selected it for our watch party game.
Yeah, that's it. It's off to a late start, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? Let's get this.
Drop the puck.
Don't they know that we're waiting? Let's see. Marcel from Zurich in Switzerland has joined us. He says, "Hey guys," and we say, "Hey back to you, Marcel." Marcel asked somebody about a new girlfriend. Is he talking about our girlfriend hockey teams? I don't know. Max has joined us.
He asked, why is Doug rooting on the Rangers? Because
yes. We decided to be funny that we would each pick a team when we do this each week. So I'm the Bruins guy and Doug is the Rangers guy tonight. And we've got our
funny is the word for it.
Amusing. I don't know. We've got our goal lights here to play, and we have the actual horns of the teams, goal horns to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. So.
And hello to Max.
Max was with us last week. Max was with us last week, as I recall.
Where are you listening from, Max?
By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, Doug, but I have a new thing on my mic here. I worked in broadcasting for 30 years.
Is that a euphemism?
Should know what to call this, but this. I bought this today. It's amazing, Amazon, honestly.
Windscreen.
Bought it yesterday, and there it was on my porch this morning. So
very good.
I had a listener to my LA Kings podcast say that I was popping my peas, and I've never been known as a pea popper.
Wow.
So I was kind of like, no one else has ever said anything, and I haven't noticed it, and I listen to the shows periodically just to.
Oh, we know
make
you
sure,
love listening
make
to
sure things sound okay, and I've never noticed it. But I'm like, you know what? Those things cost less than $10. Why not buy it and make sure it sounds as good as possible? So there you go.
Well, I am positively proud that you are going to be popping your peas less periodically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of eating the mic here on my setup. Yours is quite. I'm probably too close and you're probably too far away, but whatever. We're not, we're doing the best we can with what we got here.
What are you drinking today, Eddie? As if we don't know.
If I'm not drinking it, then there's something surprising going on, because there it is. I've even got an unopened one ready for refill.
How about that?
I did have a tragic event occur, though, with me today, as this game still apparently has not started unless...
Is there a delay going on?
I don't know. I mean, we having a special ceremony or something?
Somebody tell us if you are actually seeing the game, because Eddie and I are watching on ESPN Plus, and it is not started, and it's 12:45.
Nope. And I'm looking at my little scoreboard here and on my phone, and it says it hasn't started. So anyway, we'll continue to patiently wait. We'll have story time. So my wife is sick, and her car was taken to the shop yesterday because I guess it was sick too. No, it just needed the regularly scheduled maintenance. And so she wasn't feeling up to go get her car, which was fortunate, but they kept it overnight. And I guess the Toyota dealership was like, because we kept it overnight, we're going to send an Uber to pick you up and come get your car. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Karen's like, yeah, hey, they're going to send an Uber to get you, and you can go get the car. And I'm like, awesome. I get a notification on my phone. I click on it, and the guy's like, he's 1 mile away. I'm like, Jesus. So I get dressed, I run out there, and he pulls up. I get in, he takes off. This guy's driving like a bat out of hell. Okay, whatever. He gets me there, lickety split. I exit. We didn't say one word to each other, not one. And he said, "There you go," and I said, "Thank you," and that was it. Which is fine with me because I'm not antisocial. If you would have engaged me in conversation, I would have engaged him back. But I'm fine not talking to someone if they don't want to talk to me. Plus, he was listening to Handle on the Law, and he seemed very, very intent on listening to that.
Handle on the Law?
Yeah, have you never heard that show?
No.
Oh, it is a longtime staple of AM talk radio. It's this guy, Bill Handle. He's a lawyer, and you call in with your questions on who can I sue this guy for this, that kind of thing. But anyway, I left my drink in his car, and I lost my one of my special cups that we talked about on last week's show. As Doug is gnawing on an orange. So fortunately, I have a backup, but I did feel quite a loss in leaving that drink behind in his car. Very sad.
Well, I know that you're a big tipper, and it was a free ride, so that will serve as his gratuity.
Gary checks in. Hello, Gary, to say ESPN says 3:50 start time. Okay, I don't know why that would be, but
Yeah.
they're doing
a pregame ceremony for JT Miller.
Yeah, apparently. So we've got apparently 5 minutes to wait. So thank you for that update, Gary. We appreciate that. Yeah, has the Panther. They're waiting for the Panthers Blackhawks game to end so that large audience can join over. Clearly,
actually, they literally are. It says because ABC has a doubleheader, and they will not preempt the first game.
Well, I was making a joke, and the joke's on me. As doubleheader, that is an early. I mean, I know we're West Coast, but man alive, that's an early doubleheader, I guess. Nah, well, okay.
I mean, whatever. Look, you and I are both fans of East Coast football teams, but that's one day a week. It would be a little rough as an East Coast or a West Coast fan of an East Coast team to be constantly like, well, I got to set an alarm. I would to get up at 9 a.m. to see my game.
Indeed. But as someone who has gone to the East Coast to watch a sporting event, I went for a Monday Night Football game, and so I stayed at a friend's house, a mutual friend of ours, Brody, who is a Steelers and Penguins fan. We used to work with him. And so Sunday came along because I was already there for the Monday game, and I woke up at 10 o'clock. I'm like, all right, let's get to some football. And I turn on the TV, and it's there's some religious shows, and it's like really bad Sunday morning television. I'm like, what the hell? And then I realized, oh, dumbass, you're on the East Coast. The game started at 1 o'clock, not at 10 o'clock, which is boo, I say to that. But
well, let's answer some of the questions from the chat. Max wanted to know what was Doug's goal horn from last week. It was the Phoenix Coyotes. You had to have a keen ear to hear that. Thank you. He's listening from the south of England. Eddie and I have both been to England. So you Southampton area or farther north than that?
I was going to ask you.
OCO, Christopher. Thank you for that. Wado.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt again. Are you done, or can we?
I'm done. No, I'm just looking through the chat.
Hello to Wild Fisty, who is in Tampa. That's an interesting name. I was going to ask you. We had. Was it Ryan checked in earlier? Early. Kyle. I'm sorry, Kyle, who is from East Africa. Can you name any East African country? He says yes, as he's again gnawing on an orange. Can you not eat before we do this, or after? I mean, I did. I had breakfast before this. I didn't bring my delicious Eggo waffle in here so I could, stuff my face while we were recording for the good people. Very professional of you.
Yeah. Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso.
Oh, he's flexing now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going East Africa, that's a little trickier because I I know a lot of the Cape countries.
Is Morocco northern
Morocco's
or?
no, yeah, it's the farthest north.
Okay.
You can see Europe from Morocco
Hmm. I think
if
we
you
talked
stand
about
on the
that before.
coast.
Yeah,
I can see Russia from my house.
that's right.
But yeah, you can, because that was the appeal of when I was going to be in Gibraltar, which is the south of Spain, controlled by England. You can look out and see Africa, Morocco from there, and but we didn't make it due to high seas. So East Africa, I would have to say that's a trickier one.
You impressed me with that. I fancy myself a little bit of a geography buff, but yeah,
Well,
I was not coming up with any East African nations there.
those are more west now that I think about it. Those are more on the Cape. I can't think of too many that are on the East Coast now that I think about it. And I only know Burkina Faso because of our former
Yes.
classmate that we didn't know.
Yeah, did he got deposed, or is that the right word?
Well, I think he was killed.
Oh, great. Even
Yeah,
better.
yeah, it was dicey over there.
Well, that does happen apparently in some
Yeah,
of those countries.
that's they don't have peaceful transfers of power over there. So we
So
had a classmate at Fresno State that went on to be the president of Burkina Faso, the only world
That's
leader to ever come from Fresno State.
shockingly enough, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a short-lived reign, and I think it
Literally,
ended in
apparently.
bloodshed. Yeah, I think it ended in bloodshed.
Well, that is a sad, sad story.
Yep. And as for eating, I had a bowl of oranges. We're going to be here for 3 hours. You know,
You
I
have
can't
to
get
eat
any
every 3 hours?
no, but it's lunchtime. Time for me to eat.
Yeah, just
I'm having
do
some
it like
oranges.
10 minutes before.
Nah, I was out taking care of some errands.
No respect. No respect.
We finally have players on the ice. So,
Hot damn.
yep. Igor Shesterkin starting in net. Jeremy Swayman for the Bruins. No surprise by either of those.
There we go. And underway. Face off. As we are playing some hockey in Boston. A couple of original six squads going at it. And JT Miller starting at center on the top line. Right into it, JT.
With Panarin and Zibanejad. So an absolute loaded top line on paper. And they are peppering them right off the bat. The Rangers have the Bruins hemmed in.
I'm at 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Where are you at?
I'm 6 seconds behind you.
Okay.
So this will be great.
That's fine. I just will hold my tongue if anything happens until you.
You can call it out.
Well.
People are watching it different. You know, it's not the end spoiler ending to a movie.
Well, it's a good start, as you mentioned, for the Rangers. They are
they're
peppering
buzzing.
Jeremy Swayman right now.
Yeah. No initials for either JT or Keandre Miller. So I think there's a lot of indicators that might tell you which one is which.
Yeah, I could see being able to tell them apart. Position that they play and also something else.
Yeah.
All right. We'll give our thoughts on the JT Miller trade a little bit as we go along, but happy to be underway here watching this game.
I don't know why I thought this game was in New York. It's in Boston. I've been to this arena to see a hockey game.
I have been to Madison Square Garden. I have not been to TD Garden, TD Bank Garden.
Yeah, whatever they're calling it. Oh, good. They're giving us the live odds. Can't watch a game without some money on it.
Got to pay the bills. If they were paying us, I'd be giving it right now.
I watched a Kings game the other night.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, screw you.
Oh, you think I'm going to root for him? But anyway, I watched it, and I haven't watched many Kings games this year, but there's a couple Kings fans at work that had it on the big TV. So there it was. And FanDuel Sports Network giving live odds that update as the game goes on. My goodness.
I never even noticed it. I've not noticed it once. So they've been probably doing it since they took over at least a month ago, a couple months ago. So I have not noticed it once.
Yeah.
Boston have a little bit of a pushback now. Loose in front. No goal.
Shesterkin was
unaware where that
exposed there for a little bit. Yeah.
So nice little back and forth here early. Mostly Rangers, but Boston just had a little threat there. Oh, the tricky bounce off the boards, and
that's knowing your home arena.
Under your pad there.
Yeah. Shesterkin's body language looked like he just crapped himself. Oh, no.
Very descriptive of you, by the way.
Well, you know the old body language of throw the hand quickly behind you.
Maybe once in my life I've had that happen.
That's more a comedic thing than, like a pantomime of something, but Rangers right back on the attack.
And that top line is out there. It is amazing, though, to me that that JT Miller thing, that apparent feud between those two grown-ass men, or unless they're using that as the excuse, or maybe I don't know. It's what an indictment of two adults that they allowed their own personal whatever to affect their
well, we don't
situation.
know what the situation was. We don't know.
The general manager this week came out and said it was
no.
a real issue.
Know. I'm saying we don't know what caused the issue between them. It may. I can't imagine it was something.
Would you disagree, though, that two adults that are mature people could not figure out a way to coexist for the good of their profession?
I have seen people that have had irreconcilable differences and could not work together. And that was at a far less high profile and demanding job than NHL player. So
I'm sure that's true, but don't you think that's an indictment of those people?
One of them, the person that caused the rift, yes. And then it becomes untenable.
Would you say it is safe to assume that it was JT Miller since he's gone and Peterson remains, or is it just whoever they could get the best deal for? Just speculating.
It's the second one. It's
who would you rather have, JT Miller or Elias Pettersson on your team?
I would rather have JT Miller.
Okay.
And I was hoping the Ducks were the one that traded for him. So I don't know what caused the problem between the two. And I don't know how it divided the locker room. If the locker room was like, man, JT was in the wrong and we're all Team Elias here, I get it. But I have to think that was the case. I can't imagine the locker room all supported JT Miller and they traded him anyway.
Yeah, right.
So,
or I mean, more likely they both had a hand in it, I would say.
Yeah, but again, I don't think we'll ever know, and I don't want to speculate on what it could be. I'm just saying there are things that can happen between adults that make it so that you cannot coexist with that person any longer. And if that happened somehow, then obviously it did, because as you mentioned, Jim Rutherford was public with it and made this deal. He would rather have had both JT Miller and Elias Pettersson on his team, but that was no longer possible.
Still no score. Bruins have only had one shot on goal. to New York's 5. We're just under 13 minutes left.
Usually the road team has to survive the first wave, right? Of the home team gets a little bit of a jump from the crowd and the energy, and the road team kind of, let's make it to the first TV timeout 0-0 and recollect ourselves and then get after it. But the Rangers came out on fire.
Well, maybe New York a bit energized by the trade.
Oh, 100%. I think they're thrilled to have JT Miller in that room. And I don't think they were
Here we
I don't
go.
think they were happy to see any of the guys go, but they weren't sad to see him go. You know, it's not like, oh my God, what are we going to do without those players? It's I think it makes them stronger. They know the player. I think it's a perfect fit for them. And I can see why they would be coming out fired up, ready to play, thinking we got a fresh start to the season and everything is still ahead of us. That looked like a cross check.
Well, we finally have had a stoppage in play, which means we'll get to what you guys. Oh, we have a penalty, so hold up there. Cross check, as Doug had mentioned.
Urho. Gotta love that name.
We get a replay of JT Miller's best scoring chance so far as now a member of the Rangers. Charlie Coyle had a chance kind of go off the post there as he was coming from behind the net in front, and we have a stoppage in play, so that gives us a chance to kind of check and see if anybody has been kind of chiming in here. Not really.
All right.
Yosef says hi again, guys, and we say hi again to you.
Oh, let me put this out there before you get into the comments. And hello to Yosef. If we continue to do this Saturday game of the week thing, watch along, I'm going to go ahead and call our shot in a few weeks. March 22nd, we will be doing the Canucks Rangers game.
Yeah, okay.
Because that'll be JT Miller against Elias Pettersson. And that ought to be spicy.
All right. We'll figure out at some point in this broadcast what next week's game will be. If you're available, I assume, Doug, if you know at this point, if you are, it will probably be. I think I'm going to go to the Kings Ducks game that night, but that's a 7:30 face-off, so should be able to pick anything. Obviously, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 games that start before 12:30 our time, so we can probably pick one of those.
Lightning Red Wings, my friend.
I'm fine with that.
Stick to the ABC.
There you go.
Good broadcasts.
Next week, Lightning Red Wings for you guys if you want to check us out. Dave Taylor's with us once again. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Hello, Dave. He says, big money, big stakes, and big egos.
Meredith joining us again.
Hi, Meredith.
Hello to her.
Brad has checked in, and he enjoyed your take on Shesterkin's body language. Says that's what he's here for. So there you go. And he's checking in from Vancouver. Beautiful Vancouver.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yes. Loved Vancouver when I visited.
Only the San Diego of Canada.
I got lost walking back from the arena to our car, where we had our car park. It's kind of a weird thing where that arena, which it was like GM Place, I think, when I was there or something. I don't know. It's kind of got like a 2-level thing where you can, I don't know how to explain it. It's very odd, but there's a street below and there's a street above. And I think we went in on the street above and we came out on the street below or something. And it was very confusing, but obviously eventually found our car and drove back to Seattle, but beautiful city. Loved spending the day there.
Boston on the power play and not doing much with it.
All right. Text message.
Yep.
So not looking strong for me to be able to hit the goal horn here. A lot of there's a shot. A lot of passing around the perimeter. We had a little
That
bit of
looked like
a
another cross check.
yeah. Bruins fans certainly are saying you just
And it'll be a two-man
call
advantage
one.
for 14 seconds.
Yeah, and I was I don't know which game you watched with the LA Kings, but the Kings had a 2-man disadvantage for 9 seconds, and the other team scored. Like immediately won the face-off and scored, and I'm like,
Tic-tac-toe passing
I'll be
score.
damned. If you just tie up on the face-off or win the face-off, that doesn't happen. But they lost the face-off, and
Yep.
and that was that. So my point is, there's time. If you win the face-off, there's plenty of time.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, that was egregious. Charlie Lindgren there, or not Charlie Lindgren. The Ryan Lindgren cross-checking him right in the back, though. I mean, open space. Everybody sees that. Who's taking the face-off? Looks like Lindholm for Boston.
He wins it.
They win it. Yep.
I always wonder why they don't just get it down low and have everybody crash the net. Yep, boom. Where's my horn at?
That was right as the penalty expired.
That was kind of disappointing. I'll hit it again. One nothing Boston.
Charlie McAvoy one-timer slap shot.
Marchand in front. I don't know if he provided much of a screen or not.
It appeared to be as the penalty expired to Vakanainen. So not on the 2-man advantage, although for all intents and purposes it was.
Ooh, did it go off the defenseman?
It will get Lindgren out of the. It may not have gone in the net. It did. It did.
Yeah, it went behind him for sure. Hard to believe it wouldn't have gone in the
hit
net.
the crossbar, hit the ice, and then bounced right back towards.
Now they're trying to figure out if it.
Yeah,
are they trying to figure out if it went in or if they
no if Vakanainen if their power play should be over. They're just looking at the clock to see exactly when it went in. But yeah, it should be both players out.
I thought it might have went off of the Rangers defenseman in front and then off the crossbar and in because it looked like it. I thought it changed direction a little bit, but we'll see. Peter Laviolette enjoying
a young lady with a very large Miller Lite sitting behind the Rangers bench. The tall boy.
Yeah, I'm sure that cost her $25.
Well, she's sitting rinkside at a Bruins game. I don't think money is a concern.
All right, so no power play continuing. It was after the
the Vakanainen penalty had just expired, so Lindgren out of the box, back 5-on-5, 1-0. And let's see how the Rangers respond and if they're done cross-checking people.
Yeah, they had been the better team early on, but hurting themselves with penalties. I still can't tell if it went off that defenseman's stick or not on the replay there.
It definitely went off of it. He had to shoot it in, Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, I didn't mean. I meant the Rangers. You know what I meant. I meant the Rangers defenseman.
All right, why don't you read some comments while I enjoy some homegrown orange?
I will, as soon as I let the good folks know that was Charlie McAvoy's 6th goal of the season. Pavel Zacha and David Pastrnak with the assists. Joseph says, as a Canucks fan, I am certainly happy to hopefully see the team get past this whole Millsy Pizzi thing. Not loving our center depth at the moment, though. Brad says after seeing the post-game interviews with Captain Q Hughes, Coach Tockett, and several others, it was very clear that JT Miller was respected and valued by his teammates and team, and that he was a leader. Joseph continues, it'll be interesting to see if Miller can pick his game up in another environment. Hope he's not already on the decline. And Brad says, pretty clear they went with EP40 due to his age, 5 years younger, and contract status. Seems immature as a person, though. Mm-hmm. Dave Taylor is watching, and he is cheering for the Rangers to perhaps help his Red Wings a bit, although they're kind of in competition as well for a wild card spot. But Boston's the team that's in front of both of them, so I guess that's why you root against them. And Joseph, continuing on the JT Miller, Elias Pettersson thing, says, I haven't picked up on the immature thing, but the whole thing between the two did seem fairly immature. You should be able to work with people you don't like. Work is work. And I would agree with that. Dano has checked in. Hello, Dano. One of the 21 folks currently watching the live stream, the game watch party of the Rangers and Bruins. And he says, my favorite hockey podcast host. Hello, Dano. Says, one thing I'm not sure that was mentioned was that JT quit on the team. He clearly hadn't cared for the past month or so. Oh my.
JT Miller.
Well,
Impact.
He hasn't quit in this game, apparently. Doug had to quickly put his orange down so he could.
Yeah. Rangers want me to eat more orange.
I drink my orange, personally.
I don't think there's any orange in there.
A turnover.
Popped right out to him in between the slots. And
yeah.
Nice forecheck, though, by Panarin to create the turnover.
Carlo
get an assist on that.
Carlo trying to go up the boards. It goes off the shin pad of Panarin right in front to JT Miller, who was all alone, almost as if he knew it was going to happen. 10th goal of the season for the New York Ranger, JT Miller.
First with Rangers since February 25th of 2018. Won't be his last, most likely. But immediate dividends for the trade. Oh, my. What a beautiful play that was. Set up. Shot wide, but.
So it's interesting when I'm watching on my laptop, and when I move over to the other screen to read the emails or the posts, I have to go back and refresh the feed to get back to where we are, which is odd.
Yeah.
But once we have a stoppage in play, that's when we're going to obviously check in on your comments, and we appreciate you guys joining us. And if you feel like it, commenting, and if you haven't already, kind of just check in and let us know you're there. Be nice to know who's with us.
Oh, my. Right out in front. Got him on his backhand, though.
Boston with a chance. Whoa, look out. Was that deflected wide, or did he just shoot that?
It had to be deflected. I mean, my God.
Yeah, there was a shot from the point, and all of a sudden I see the referee in the corner jumping in the air to avoid being hit by it.
Yeah, he's doing a star jump. Oh, good forecheck.
Yeah, really agree. Yeah. Didn't result in a chance, but still resulted in a turnover momentarily. Pretty good game so far.
Yeah, Hulk's on the ice. Speaking of which, you going to go see Captain America: Brave New World in theaters, Eddie?
I will. being unemployed, well, being not having a full-time job. I have a couple of part-time jobs, obviously. We're trying to be frugal, and so I've had a bunch of gift cards, and I was like, let's see what we've got here. And you can go online and check like the available funds on the cards, see if these things are still good or not.
Right.
And I was happy to say I have several gift cards to restaurants with $50 on them. I'm like, all right. And I do have a bunch of movie gift cards, so we will be using those to go check that out.
Did you ever use those gift passes we got from at the NHL All-Star game when it was in Los Angeles?
Oh Lord, I think they were good until like 2099 or something.
Yeah,
Something really stupid.
yeah, it was an absolute insane expiration date, and I have retained them for specifically that purpose because I look forward to having an argument with a manager that has never seen a paper gift card in their lives one day.
It's going to be like those NFL guys. Like they're probably all dead by now, but you probably remember there's like an NFL Films thing, and these guys back in the day got like free Super Bowl tickets for life, and they had like some
Correct.
sort of a pass.
Yep.
And they would, they filmed them like going to use it, and the people are like, "What?" And then they're
Right.
like, "Okay." They had to make a phone call, but yeah, I don't remember why they got those passes, but there was like these 5 guys, and they got passes, and they would go to the Super Bowl every year using them.
Yeah. No, that's. I'm guessing that if and when I go to use those passes, they're just going to let me in rather than continue arguing with me.
Good luck.
Because it's literally a paper ticket that, come on, what are we doing here, buddy? This wasn't some mass national promotion. It was given out to the members of the media at the All-Star game 10 years ago now. Even then, paper was an odd choice.
Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah. But I've got a couple movie passes as well, and I'm saving one of them for, looks like we got a penalty.
On the Bruins.
Revenge of the check from behind now as Lindgren giveth and Lindgren taketh away.
Was that Lori who did it?
I don't know. He was my favorite on Gilmore Girls, though.
Yeah. No, it was not.
Why did he just get a high five from Emily Kaplan? It's an interesting one. I know who the interview is going to be with when they come back from the break.
All right. So we have a break. That means we'll check the comments. And Doug, if you could let me know when we have returned to live action, I would appreciate that.
You got it.
Dano says us Canucks fans are in shambles right now, especially after seeing that goal. Joseph says one thing certain: if the Rangers make the playoffs, Miller will be a heck of a presence, and those face-off wins are elite. Dano says, Eddie, I want to hear more about this 20-year-old who loves trains. How did you two meet? Joseph says, by the way, guys, don't know if it's been mentioned already, but congrats on the 1,000 subscriptions or subscribers. Thank you. Yes, we haven't mentioned it in this particular chat, but we have gone over 1,000 subscribers. So thank you to all, one and all. And I'm guessing pretty much everyone who's with us here probably did that because you obviously are great supporters of the show. So yes, thank you all for the assist and the help in getting over 1,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel.
Well, Dustin Burns will be very happy because he says he's got a crush on Emily Kaplan, and she will be doing the interview down with a Rangers player here after the break. We're back.
Dave Taylor, real quick, says if you don't have old gift cards that you aren't going to use, there are services that will buy them from you. All right. Well, I plan on using mine. But
Emily Kaplan talking to Peter Laviolette.
Emily looks like she just got out of the shower.
Yeah. The hair is definitely a low flow shower head situation for Emily's hotel. We can't all have the consistent hairdos you do, Eddie. You've got a very consistent look.
I would say so. It's called wearing a hat.
Yep.
For the first time, I did the Puck Podcast Hockey Minute the other day without a hat on, and sure enough, someone commented on the fact
that you weren't wearing a hat.
I was not wearing a hat. Yeah. I mean, I try not to show off my gigantic forehead if I don't have to. I mean, I know people don't want to see that, but I thought my hair was looking okay that day, so I figured, you know what? I'm gonna mix it up, and somebody noticed.
Well, in a negative way, or just
I don't.
why are you not wearing a hat?
No, just I don't know that it was negative. It was just that. Oh, look, Eddie's not wearing a hat today, something like that.
Yeah.
I did not take offense to it. All right, so the Rangers are on a power play. First minute, nothing doing. Second,
beautiful
60 seconds
there.
here almost. As JT Miller is out there on the power play, as you would expect for the Rangers.
What are you more excited for, Eddie? Captain America: Brave New World or Four Nations?
Brave New World.
Oh, beautifully done here. They're doing a good job of setting people up with high quality scoring chances.
Yep.
And these are designed plays.
Kreider with the shot from the extended high slot and Swayman with the glove save. Nicely done. That's a little, usually Kreider's a lot closer to the net than that when he's on the power play. Got the second unit out there, I believe, now for the Rangers.
What kind of, let's go, linesman.
I was watching a game the other day, and they kicked a guy out on the opening faceoff. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't say I've never seen it before, but it's very rare.
I've seen that, but it's mostly because of encroachment from the wings. Like the other linesman will signal to the linesman at the center ice or the referee at the center ice, hey, these guys are cheating in too much. So, well, in 94 here has got a stick up his ass about something. He refuses to.
That would be the linesman Doug's talking about. That everything's got to be just right before I drop this puck.
Yeah, I mean, what'd you say about my mother? I didn't say anything. Get out of here. All right. That is Brian Pansich, the lines person, as they now call them, as I believe we have female lines people.
In the NHL?
I think so.
I was unaware of that.
Power play's over. One shot. Did not go in, obviously.
Still tied at 1. We are approaching 3 minutes left in the entertaining opening period.
For two non-playoff teams, man, there's a lot of talent on the ice, and this is a well-played game. Oh, baby. What a turnover.
Where's my button?
Goal horn so nice, Eddie likes to play it twice.
Some of them go on for a while, and some of them are kind of quick. So I think that one's kind of quick to me. So David Pastrnak gets the puck right out in front in a very dangerous area, and guys like him usually do not fail when they get that puck in that area.
Yeah, bad job by Adam Fox, former Norris Trophy winner, of defending the puck back behind his own net. Who was that had the assist?
25th goal of the season for Mr. Pastrnak. And Bruins take a 2-1 lead, under 3 to go in the first period.
Matthew Poitras with the assist and a great forecheck to set him up. So well done by him. 12 goals in the last 14 games, most in the NHL since the start of 2025. David Pastrnak heating up.
When it's all said and done, Doug, of these two teams, how many of the two teams we're watching right now will be in the playoffs at the end of the year?
Both of them.
So who would drop out then? I guess both the wild card teams then. No Tampa, no Columbus.
Well, no Columbus for sure. I still refuse to believe that they can maintain this pace, though I would love to see it. And Ottawa.
I don't have a strong pushback on that opinion.
I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see Columbus and Ottawa, some fresh blood in there. But
the TV networks would disagree with you.
Yeah, hell with them.
But yeah, absolutely. To hell with you. I did not fire on innocent civilians. If you know that movie, put that in the comments and we will praise you. You have to be of a certain age, though, probably.
Yeah. They remade that movie.
They did?
Oh, no, they didn't. They made the other one. Total Recall.
Yes. And I did see that one because there were a couple hotties in that one.
It wasn't that kind of movie, Eddie.
I know, but I won't deny that that played a role.
And that's why they cast him.
It was okay. I didn't think it was that bad. If you saw that one first before you saw the other one, you would say, well, that was a better movie. But, nostalgia and all that. And
yeah. Oh, no. The Ducks are on national TV.
Oh, wow. How did that happen?
Well. And if you're liking this game, then you're going to love Wednesday's game on Max between these exact same teams. There's a cruise ship sailing down the boards, the animated virtual boards.
That's an ad for Doug. It's not for me. Well, are you going on a cruise? I know end of the month, right? We're going to not have you for a couple of shows. Is it a cruise?
Correct. Cruise. That's correct.
The parents aren't involved in this, are they?
No. No, I'm a big boy now. I go on trips all by myself.
Under a minute to go here in the opening period. Bruins with a 2-1 lead. Pasternak and McAvoy with the goals for Boston. JT Miller with the goal for the New York Rangers.
We got a power play goal that was essentially a two-man advantage goal, even though Urho Vakanainen had a foot out the door. And then we got two horrific turnovers that led to goals right in front. So what do you think, Joe Sacco, the interim head coach? You think he gets the full-time job, or you think they're going to give him the boot at the end of the year? And
I think that is TBD. I would say right now he is
coaching for his job.
Absolutely.
Well, if they get rid of him, I would love to have him come behind the bench of the Anaheim Ducks.
Former Duck, is he?
Correct. And I think they'll get rid of him. I don't think he'll get the job full time. Oh, into the crowd. There's a lucky fan.
Oh, man. Were you with me at that Sharks game when that woman took that puck in the head?
No.
Pre-game?
No.
Man, this was pre-nets behind the goals. We were in San Jose for a game, and when they're in warm-ups, those pucks are flying everywhere. And it was not unusual for them to go in the seats pre-game warm-up, and sure enough, man, right in the forehead. She's going off, got the towel on her forehead bleeding, and I'm like, yep. Let's go have a nice fun night out at the whole hockey game. What do you say? Don't even get to see 1 second of it, and now I'm going to the hospital.
That was a plot line for one of the very early episodes of Friends.
Okay.
One of them, Ross, got hit in the nose with a hockey puck while they were at a Rangers game. That would not be a plot line these days. And it was also a plot line or a memorable moment from a movie with Christian Slater and Marissa Tomei.
Something Heart. it was called, because he had a heart condition, and the end. Spoiler alert: he ends up dying after they fall in
Thanks.
love.
No reason for me to watch it now.
Yeah,
Broken Heart?
I don't think so. That doesn't sound right.
Frozen Heart?
Frozen Heart. Oh man, you know what? I really, really am disappointed in not being able to watch this intermission report with PK and Mess. That's a heartbreaker right there.
Yep.
All right, so
I can say this. Look at the set. Look at the size of the set they have for this intermission. What an absolute waste of real estate.
I mean, at least
I've been in television for 30 years now, and I can tell you, no, but it's not needed. Now, there's a happy medium. Again, I was watching the Kings game the other day, and the post-game show with Jim Fox, the ageless, the Dick Van Dyke, or the Dick Clark of hockey. The man doesn't age. Looks exactly the same now as he did in the 90s.
I think he's in his mid-60s.
I'm sure he is, because he was broadcasting 30 years ago. But he's there with, I forget who, the Doc Severinsen of hockey. Those suits are something else.
Daryl Evans,
and then wonderful Carolyn Bath.
Baith.
They are shoulder to shoulder. I mean, absolutely no room. Like they're trying to, like doing a cram into a phone booth. So there's a happy medium between that and this expansive set for the intermission show. I get that they have the real estate, but you don't need that much room. You just put them in the corner with a nice backdrop and a video screen, and let's go. You remember the size of Jim Rome's TV set back at Fox, Eddie?
No.
It was in the corner behind the National Sports Report set.
And are you sure you're not thinking about Keith Olbermann?
I'm positive. I worked on Jim Rome's show.
All right.
But
that might have been before my time there. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was just a little corner, maybe about 8 feet wide, about 7 feet deep, and it had a video screen behind him, a chair. If they needed a guest, they had a second chair, and that was it. But when you watched it on TV, it looked just fine. So I'm just saying they could do that. What messages do we have, Eddie?
Let's see here. Gonna have to scroll back just a little bit. Russell checks in, says, I am happy as a Blue Jackets fan that I still have something to root for in February. Amen to that. And happy February to everyone as we have hit February 1st. Let's see. Jarith says he does not like the goal song. I don't know what the goal song is in Boston. I know what the one is in New York. It's that same one they've had for a while, but I don't know what the one is in Boston. Dusty says, I would love to see Ottawa, Toronto first round. Is that possible, though, with divisions and wild cards? Yeah, that would be possible with the wild card if Toronto wins their division, which they are currently leading. Joseph says, will it be interesting? Will it be an interesting deadline with what Ottawa and Columbus being potential buyers? Or will be an interesting deadline? He's not asking a question. Jarith says Ottawa had a nice overtime win against the Capitals. Yes, they did. Ovechkin did have a goal in that one, so he's 19 away as we record this or have this. Joseph says, would not be surprised to see the Canucks trading Besser, whose contract is up and an extension doesn't look likely. That would be interesting because, I mean, I think Vancouver definitely still fancies himself as in the mix here. But then again, it's that whole, how much are we in the mix and can we afford to let a guy go like that for nothing? The answer, of course, is no. Joseph also says, my keyboard is playing tricks on me. Damn you, smart keys and swapping between languages. Well, that is interesting. Dusty says it was Untamed Heart. That was the name of the movie. That is correct. Untamed Heart. Dano says, trains, Eddie, trains. By the way, it's EDDIE. Just saying. I will tell you who that story about the train guy. But Brad says the setup has to be huge to accommodate both PK's and Messier's egos. And Joseph says to Meredith, keyboard doesn't know its place. That's for sure, because he says the keyboard wants to be included in the show. The guy that I met, who is probably on a train right now as we speak, was a young man at the time. He was in high school when he was a fan of the radio show that I was a part of, the Ben Maller show. And he's a special needs kid, but very high functioning. Now he lives on his own, has a job, just has his things, like being obsessed with trains, I guess. Although you don't have to be special for that, I suppose. But yeah, he was a fan of the radio show I was a part of, and for whatever reason, I guess because I was really nice to him, developed a friendship with me, and he's stayed in contact. And my wife used to be a special needs teacher, and so she has a soft spot in her heart for those types of folks as well. And so we've taken him to a baseball game. I took him to a Kings game recently, and so yeah, he texts me and we stay in touch. And he loves trains. That's his thing. And Doug is still eating oranges. How many oranges are you eating? I mean, you got to be on your second orange. That can't be still the first orange, because you have been gnawing on that thing for an hour now.
Well, not constantly, but yes, I just finished my second orange.
How many oranges can you eat?
I mean, I could probably eat 8, 9
in one sitting.
I'm saying if I had to, if I'm
not saying someone put a gun to your head. I'm just asking, how many oranges will you?
I brought myself 2 oranges fresh off the tree to enjoy as a delicious, healthy snack while I watch the game. And I've now consumed them. They were delicious, and that's it.
Meredith says no scurvy for Doug.
That's right.
Because that's always such a concern. No scurvy for Doug. Jarith says the Boston Bruins goal song is Kerncraft 400. He says it causes flashbacks. Oh, because Jarith is a Leafs fan. Is that right?
Yeah.
Memory recall. Yeah. Okay. Na 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 na. Is that the new Gary Glitter?
Yeah, they got rid of Gary Glitter.
Oh, yes, they did.
Oddly enough.
Yes, they did. Gary Glitter got rid of himself.
Kids were having flashbacks.
Oh, yes, that's unfortunately true. And that also led to one of Doug's funnier comments that I will not share.
Why not?
People. Yeah, I don't know that that's something that they would. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. You really want me to share that?
It wasn't obscene.
All right. Why don't you share that funny Gary Glitter story that you, not a real story, but a comment that you had about Gary Glitter and his affinity for young people?
The guy was a pedophile. He fled to some
Thailand?
Asian country. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where. But yeah, I'm not going to say it. He had a birthday party, and I had a comment about his birthday celebration, and Eddie very much enjoyed it.
It was very funny, very inappropriate, but very funny.
Funnier comment without me saying it as well. That or the comeback I had for the Wyoming sports reporter when we were at the Fresno State game.
Oh, I'm sure I'd know it if you told me, but you'll have to text it to me maybe.
All right, I'll text it to you.
I remember there was one thing. I think we were playing video games, and you had like a Helen Keller comment that I almost died laughing at. Do you remember that one?
No.
Okay. Dano says, that's awesome. Super cool of you and the wife to take him out to games. Condolences to Doug, as Eddie is now my favorite. Well, yes, I am a super cool person. I will say though, I took him to, he fancies himself a Penguins fan for some unknown reason. But he said, I want to go to a Kings Penguins game. And I was like, okay. This was a couple weeks ago. And so he lives in Arizona now. He flew out for the game and took the train to the stadium and met him there. We went to the game, and the Penguins absolutely, I don't want to say killed, but it was not competitive. And I thought for sure the Kings would win that game. They've been really good at home. It was their first game back from a long road trip. They were honoring all the firefighters and all that stuff. And they just didn't, for whatever reason, show up in that one. And he was having a good old time. And I was just sitting there like, oh man, this sucks. But I did not put on a grumpy face. I was only grumpy on the inside. I was not grumpy on the outside. So anyway. You want to talk about the JT Miller trade? You want to give your 2 cents on
Sure.
that? All right.
1 second.
So for those that may have missed it, JT Miller was traded back to the New York Rangers, where he previously had played. And of course, there was a lot of scuttlebutt about the Rangers and the Canucks trying to do this earlier in the season. And matter of fact, there was kind of a report that this was going to happen. And then at the last second, the 11th hour, it fell through. And so we're like, well, maybe that's not going to happen, but I guess they revisited it. And from what I understand, Doug, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The not retaining any money was a major sticking point. And I guess the Rangers decided that would not be a condition of the deal. And Vancouver said, very well then. But if you're, obviously you're all watching it. You see on the screen here, JT Miller going to New York along with defenseman Eric Brandstrom and defenseman Jackson Dorrington. Vancouver gets Philip Hedl along with defenseman Victor Mancini and a first-round pick in 2025. It's a conditional pick, so it's if it's
it's top 10 protected.
Yeah, there you go.
Or top 13, I think. So if it's in the top 13, they get it back, and then it comes to
next
2026.
Year,
Unconditional 2026 first-round pick. They're not just going to keep pushing it back if the Rangers are allowed to.
So clearly Vancouver is not making this trade because they don't think JT Miller is a good player, but because of the soap opera that we have discussed, and they felt like they needed to separate these two for the good of the team. They had to trade one of them. JT Miller had the more trade value, I suppose, and so that's why he's gone.
Yeah, and it's not a bad return for Vancouver, but it's not as good as I thought they could have gotten, to me. I think there was a little bit of urgency there to get rid of him because it was a corrosive situation in the locker room. And so they were looking to get rid of him sooner rather than later. There were only so many teams that were both interested and available to take on the salary without making them retain any cap or getting a third team involved, which complicates things. He has a no movement clause as well. So he had control over where he went, and he obviously wanted to go to the Rangers. So all that conspired against Jim Rutherford and the Canucks to get the best return they could. So this was not a good trade for Vancouver, in my opinion. When you look at it, at the end of the day, it's just it's a product of the circumstances, but that's not enough to get back what they needed to get back, in my opinion. So I don't know much about this Victor Mancini kid. I don't know much about Jackson Dorrington. Eric Brandstrom is, a guy, nothing more than that. So ultimately, you're getting rid of a problem. Philip Hedl's a good player, but has never fulfilled the potential that he had when he was drafted in the first round many years ago now. And so you're getting a depth forward in Philip Hedl, I presume a depth defenseman in Victor Mancini, since he is already in the NHL, and 22 years old. Maybe he's still got high-end potential. We'll see. But it's really getting a first-round pick. And that, if that's all you get for JT Miller, that's not enough. 2 depth players and a first-round pick, especially when you compare it to the trade we just saw with the Stars. they got incredible return, or the Sharks did, for a couple of guys that are not nearly the impact of JT Miller.
If you give me 2 seconds, I will put up a little graphic that shows the details of that trade.
All right. I think we can wait that long. But when you compare those two trades, the Canucks got hosed, in my opinion, and the Rangers absolutely made out like a bandit. If I'm a Rangers fan, we traded our, bottom six forward and a defenseman you've probably never heard of, and a first-round pick that we're not going to miss for JT Miller. Hot damn. That's it. And if I'm a Canucks fan, hey, we just got rid of one of our best players who, yes, was having a bad year and, yes, was a malcontent and was wanting out, but we just got rid of him. But good news, everybody. We've got a bottom six forward, a depth defenseman, and a first-round pick that we may or may not have in the near future. It may be next year, maybe the future year. But either way, it's just not like if it is a 25 first-round pick, the best it can be is 14th overall. That's not a good pick. That's not one where you're going out and getting a tip of the spear kind of prospect. So
potentially.
I mean, yeah, of course, any pick can potentially be great. But if you're getting a top 5 pick, okay, now we're talking. 14th? I couldn't tell you who was 14th last year or lower. So I thought it was a bad trade for Vancouver, unfortunately. And I think I would have demanded like JT Miller. I would have even like told them we're gonna sit you until we can find a trade that is to our liking. And if you want to give us a wider group of teams that you're willing to be traded to, then we can make this happen sooner rather than later. But until then, have a seat, go home, whatever, and we'll let you know when it's when you got a new team.
Is that possible? Like with the Players Association, can you just do that kind of thing? I mean,
you can healthy scratch anybody you want.
You could just send them home though, like that. I mean, don't even show up at the arena.
Sending them home. I'm saying we're going to healthy scratch you the rest of the year until we trade you. So if you want to show up, you're welcome to, but you obviously don't like your teammates or at least one of them. So if you want to stay home, that's fine too. If you want to stay home on this road trip, we're not going to use you. So I don't think that's against the player. But if he made a stink about it, okay, come on in, have some popcorn up in the press box, whatever, do whatever you want. But we're not letting you on the ice.
I apologize. I have something going on with my throat here, so I'm coughing a little bit, but that's why they make the cough button. So you do want to see that the details on that Dallas San Jose trade? Did you want to see that?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
And Ray Ferraro not looking good.
Wow, I'm sure he appreciates you saying that.
So there you go. They get a first-round pick and a third-round pick conditional for Cody Ceci and Mikael Granlund. So that's essentially the same without the depth players, the depth forward and depth defenseman. It's the same return that the Canucks got for JT Miller. Now, who would you rather have, JT Miller or Granlund and Ceci? Now, this was forced because of the Heiskanen injury. They need a defenseman to fill out their lineup for the rest of the season as they make their push, and hopefully he returns for the playoffs. And it would be ironic, as listener James Curry texted me, a Stars fan, it would be ironic if Mark Stone led to a long-term injured reserve exploitation rather than enjoying it himself. But that's not a good return, or that's too much of a price to pay, I thought, for Dallas. But they had to do something to keep themselves floating. They're going through a lot of injuries right now, and I thought that was a great deal for San Jose.
All right, we'll talk about that more, obviously, on this week's Puck Podcast. Meanwhile, we're underway, and in Boston in the second period, still 2-1 Bruins, as we've played the first 30 seconds plus of period number 2.
I've sent Eddie the text message, so we will see his response. Based on your response, I will know if it is funnier than the other line.
All right, I'm reading it now.
Gary Glitter. So I'll watch Eddie's face.
Well, I will not repeat that. However, I will say, you and I drove through Laramie, Wyoming, and
Yes.
not impressed at all.
Right.
I was like, that's it?
I distinctly
mean-
remember us driving through Laramie, and you were in the passenger seat. We were driving in our convertible that we had rented
Yes.
to go see the Fresno State Bulldogs play at Colorado.
Thought it was a good idea
And
at the time.
yeah, that was a great trip.
No, but I had always wanted to drive a convertible.
Oh yeah,
And
a convertible across southern Wyoming is not the dream.
No,
That was the wrong place. Going
honestly,
up the coast,
it was one of those things I thought would be really, really awesome, and it just wasn't. So anyway,
yeah. But as we drove through southern Wyoming and we approached Laramie, you were on the lookout. You said, "I'll see if I can see the football stadium. I'll see if I can see the campus." And as we entered Laramie, we kept waiting for it to grow, and then pretty soon we were exiting Laramie, and you're like, "That was it." It was not much of a town.
I mean,
at least not from the highway.
I completely understand anyone not being impressed by the Fresno State campus.
Yeah.
But for someone from Laramie, Wyoming to make that comment is pretty laughable, because that town is nothing. I could not believe how tiny it was and how quickly we drove right through it. It was there and gone in 60 seconds, as there was a movie about once. Anyway.
It's not about driving through Laramie, Wyoming.
No, because it would have been gone in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
if that was the case. But anyway.
Yep.
I didn't remember that joke, by the way. I did not remember that joke. I do remember there was one though that I'll have to talk to you about it later if you see if it'll jog your memory. But that was when I almost pissed myself on. I was laughing so hard. That's when you know it's a good joke. Was there urine involved?
Yep. I have made people piss themselves from laughing, and those are proud moments.
Wow.
It was. I made a girl that I was working with.
I know. I remember you telling me that story. That's pretty awful, actually. Yeah. I had to go home and change my clothes because some clown at work made me laugh too hard. And
no, we were at Disneyland. She had to go get a new costume.
Oh, man.
Delighted.
Happiest place on earth.
Yep. Somebody's got the other side of that story. I'm at a gift shop in Disneyland one time, and I'm trying to buy some sundries, some souvenirs, some tchotchkes. And this lady behind the counter starts laughing. Some stick man over to her left is cracking wise. Pretty soon she's doubled over. Then she yells, "Oh no," and runs out of the store. Hey, go!
Again. Na 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 na. Boston Bruins goal deflected. Oh, I don't think it was a high stick, but maybe they take a look at it. Charlie Coyle deflecting in the point shot. It's close. It's close. Where was the stick above the crossbar? I'm going to say no. I think that's a good goal, but it was close.
I agree that is that's a good goal.
Peter
I don't, especially since they called it on the ice a good goal.
Yeah,
it was not egregious enough to overturn it. Although that's another one that they have. You know, why can the chip in the puck not tell us exactly? If we're trying to get it right, why can it not tell us exactly how high it was when it changed directions?
I have no answer for you.
Who scored that goal from who had the point shot?
I was focused on Coyle.
Yep.
I will be able to tell you in a moment. but a very nice deflection. I've said many times,
Andrew Peak.
one of the most impressive things, and they are looking at it. Can you challenge that?
I don't think you can, but I think the War Room in Toronto can.
Okay.
It's a good goal. They've made peace with it, and they're coming
Yeah,
out.
I mean, and it should be, frankly, as much as you and I discuss replay, as we've said as a million times, if it's clearly the wrong call, then fine, overturn it. But if it's close and you can't really tell, you stick with the call on the ice.
Especially if you got to go frame by frame, multiple angles. Come on. Then it's too close to call, and you go with whatever you called on the ice.
Agreed. Although they don't do that for offsides, do they?
God, no. Can you tell he was offsides? Did anybody stop playing because they thought, well, that guy's clearly offsides?
No.
Was it even a factor in the play? Or was it 20 seconds earlier?
It's
wave a goal off. Or what are you talking about?
Swayman with a toe save on it wasn't a shot. It was a puck that was going towards the net. I think it went off the foot of somebody, and he got his toe on it and saved it.
They got that thing in the corner. Show us what you got, and the us and what is into one word.
It is.
That's terrible.
I don't understand it. It's something for the fan skills? What? I don't know. You pay way more attention to the stuff that's going on the boards than I do. Somebody is
got a bleeder.
We got it. Yeah, that's right. Something about Mary Callahan got a stick or a puck up in the mouth there. I didn't see
the
it.
Puck it was fired in as a kind of a dump in, and it jumped up and hit him right in the face.
Oh yeah, deflection. Yep, that's probably going to lose some chiclets there. Yep.
That's something about Mary's scene. Absolute top 5 funniest scenes in cinematic history.
Wow.
From top to bottom, from the minute he knocks on the door to pick up Mary for the prom until we got a bleeder. Holy mackerel. That crowd, when I saw that in the theater, up for grabs. Uproarious laughter from an entire crowd of people.
Did someone wet themselves, would you say?
I'm betting somebody, I bet there was leakage. Yeah. Because that thing, oh my God, that was funny.
Leakage. And this is the kind of quality entertainment
I miss comedies in theaters, man. We haven't had a good comedy like that in a long time. A long time. Anchorman. I remember you and I saw that with our friend Andrew and my wife Jackie in the theater. And there was a scene that Andrew literally fell out of his chair into the aisle laughing at. You don't see that very often anymore these days, folks.
Yeah, especially, it's not a good idea, the old movie theater floor.
No, it wasn't a voluntary.
Well,
he was already doubled over.
Come
on. And then
get a hold of yourself, kept coming. What? Like if it was a floor of hot lava, he would be dead right now. Come on.
Well, I don't think he would have been in a position to laugh.
What do you remember? What it was that brought that reaction?
Yes, it was the cologne that one guy wore.
Sex Panther.
Yes, whatever it was, and the woman's description of it.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember the joke. I don't remember him falling on the ground, but yeah, I do remember the joke.
And then we were laughing at Andrew falling on the ground, laughing. Yeah, that whole crowd was laughing. Man, it's been a long time since we've seen that. I remember multiple movies. Naked Gun, I had to go see a second time to figure out some of the scenes I missed because people were laughing so loud.
That is the downside of comedy with a lot of folks there. You can't hear all the jokes.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, that was Those are fun moments, man. I remember them 20, 30 years later. I'll ask the group here, everybody watching, what is the funniest movie you ever saw in the movie theater?
All right, so Boston looking for more here. An extended shift in the New York Rangers end, up 3-1.
Yeah, the ice looks tilted right now because in the first period it was the Rangers down here much of the game. Now it's the Bruins.
And once we have a stoppage in play, we will go and check what the comments are, if anybody's made any since we've been away. Unless Doug, yeah, let's wait till. I think that's a good move.
Yeah.
Pasternak in on net.
Oh, I thought he had it.
Yeah, didn't have full control over it. Apparently, a little bounce in there, and was not able to get his second goal of the game. But it's coming if things keep continuing like this.
It is amazing how once you get chasing the puck, you just cannot catch up to it, you know?
Yeah. All right, we got a stoppage, so we will now check and see if we have any comments. And I believe we do. So I will have to scroll up a bit here on the page. Stand by. Oh, too far. Let's see. Doug Wilson is joined us, says morning.
Hey.
He says, weird label for the watch party. What did I do? What did I do wrong?
Live with Restream, February 01. Eddie is a technical genius.
Hey,
it's on the air.
That's right. 100%. Christopher Stiles says, returned I have, as apparently he's channeled his inner Yoda.
Yeah.
Doug Wilson says, Laramie cigarettes, big country. Of course, we got to have a Simpsons reference, of course.
That's right.
Christopher says that Doug is a pisser, all right. For some, apparently, yes.
Yep.
Chris also agreed, no high stick, good goal. Doug Wilson says, chipping the puck would make too much sense. Titan Flyer. That was Kevin, right, from last week? He's checked in. He's watching again, says hello.
Hello.
Doug Wilson says that a timeout was taken and that, yes, it could have been challenged. All right. But apparently they didn't. Chris says chipping the puck equals extra expense. Can't cut into the profits. That's probably true. Drith says, wait, did the Pens trade Marcus Pettersson to the Canucks yesterday? Does the Canucks GM have a Peterson thing? He is collecting them. Yes, that's true. We've got two. We've got both of the, two Elias Petterssons. One's Elias. We've got an Elias and Elias. And so, yes, you are correct. There's three Petersons now on our Petterssons.
Come see our Petersons.
Yes, that's true.
I would love to see a goal someday that was scored by Peterson, assisted by both Petersons.
Brad asks, can't Laviolette afford hair plugs after so many years as a head coach? Meredith says Canucks are going in all in on the Peterson team.
Yeah. It worked well for him with the Sedins.
True.
Collect all of one name.
Sock It To Me Cake says, have you guys reviewed the film Youngblood? If so, what did you think of it as a hockey movie? Yes, indeed, we did review Youngblood as a hockey movie.
By far one of the better hockey movies.
Yeah, I think we were okay with it. I think the most memorable thing for me was a very young Keanu Reeves, I think, making his acting debut in that one. And
as had a French goal.
His French accent that was spot on.
Yep. I thought he was French until I saw him in another movie. I thought this Frenchman is playing a different character. He's going to play Bill and Ted. Sacre bleu.
Sock It To Me Cake. Let us know the real name, by the way. Says Beverly Hills Cop. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Jarith says Rush Hour in the theater.
Wow.
He said seemed to be half East Asian and half black. I wonder why.
That's the perfect audience for that film.
Joseph says never saw Anchorman in the movies, but the sequel is really good too. However, the funniest movie I ever watched in the movie theater was probably The Other Guys. He
Oh, that
says,
is a very good movie.
and he
That's a
says,
funny
"Aim
movie.
for the bushes" scene got me.
That's a funny movie.
And yeah, there we go.
Will Ferrell, man.
Yeah,
Will Ferrell's a funny man.
he is.
I watched a movie a couple nights ago that I've seen before, but I've not seen since it came out in the theaters, and I know you liked it as well, Eddie. Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah,
That is a great movie.
it is. It is. And
It was a really, really good movie.
yes, and my wife watched it with me, and we were talking about people with special needs, and one of the stars, if I guess you could say the star of that movie,
Yeah,
was a special needs actor, and he was hilarious.
yeah,
And there's a scene in there where he got mad at someone, and he told them, "You're not invited to my birthday party anymore." And my
yep,
wife died laughing because she's like, "That is so authentic." Because for whatever reason, her experience with special needs people is that their birthday parties are a huge deal for them, like the biggest thing. Like forget about Christmas or whatever. That holiday is like the biggest thing for them. So
yep.
for a kid to say that would be a big deal, and they would have, if they got mad at you,
And
they would
it
say
would be
something
the
like
ultimate
that.
insult.
Yes,
Yeah, you're not invited to my birthday party. Oh, clutch the pearls.
Karen has a Charger fan who is special.
She
His name's
has
Tony.
one.
They're a friend. His
Okay.
name is Tony, and he will text. He'll like text everyone, about Charger stuff. It's usually I'm coming to the game this week. Breaking news. I'm coming to the game this week. And he'll send it out to like 500 people.
Oh
All the
boy.
people that he knows, send it out there. And a lot of times he'll do a cut and paste, and he'll say something like, "Hey, dude, I'm going to be at the game this week." And Karen's like, "Dude." And she knows he's just like cut and paste, the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that was a good movie. If you have not seen it,
what was the point of that story?
that Peanut Butter Falcon, that line was very authentic and very funny.
Okay.
That was the point of the story.
Anyway, Shia LaBeouf, who I'm not a huge fan of, but I have no problem with.
Same.
He was great in that movie.
Yeah, and Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson was very good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was. The directing was fantastic. The writing, the editing. It's one of the few movies I've ever seen where an adult punches out a child, and you're happy he did it. This kid pushes the special needs guy into a lake, knowing he can't swim.
Mm-hmm.
And Shia LaBeouf goes running to save him, but stops to punch out the kid before he jumps into the lake to save him.
Yeah.
Loved it. That is a great movie, man. I thought I got to buy that on Blu-ray. So I always have that available because things go off and streaming and can't find it. And that's one like All Is Lost that I will revisit often.
Kevin says that my boy, the late Peter Zezel, was in the movie Youngblood. And Jarith says, "I did not realize Zezel was in that, nor did I remember." Very cool. He says, "I remember him as an amazing face-off man when he was on the Leafs." That's a name from the past I haven't thought of in a while. Peter Zezel. Yeah. I remember him. I don't want to say I fondly remember. And I don't know how old you are, Jarith. But I mean, the first year I was really, really into hockey was the year the Kings happened to make it to the Stanley Cup final, which of course cemented my fandom when I got a real taste of what playoff hockey could be about. And they played the Leafs in the Western Conference final. And I still remember that Leafs team so well. And I'm pretty sure Peter Zezel is on there, but Doug Gilmour and Wendell Clark and Mike Foligno, the father of the Foligno brothers that are playing now. Yeah, I remember all those. I remember that team pretty well.
Well, let's take a look at some of the names from that roster as I pulled that team up in my in the memory banks here. And let's see. Your goal scoring leader for that team, Nikolai Borshevsky. You
I would.
remember him?
I the name I do, but that one wouldn't have popped into my head trying to name all the players I could remember there.
Next up was Doug Gilmore, then Dave Andrechuk, Rob Pearson, Glenn
Andrechuk, yeah.
Anderson,
Glenn
Mike
Anderson,
Krushelniski,
former King.
Wendell Clark, John Cullen, Mike Foligno, Dave McElwain, Peter Zezel, Mark Osborne, Todd Gill, Dmitry Mornov, Bill Berg, Dave Ellett, Jamie McCoon, Drake
McCowan,
Barahowski,
Jamie McCowan.
Jamie McCowan, Drake Barahowski. Some of these names, and Joe Sacco, head coach of your Boston
Oh, very
Bruins,
nice.
was on that team. It is amazing that this was 32 years ago. It's
Yeah.
just like it doesn't. You read some of those names, and it doesn't feel like it was that long ago that they were players.
I had that game 7 on VHS tape. If I went back and watched it, it would feel probably like 32 years ago, just the way it
Yeah,
looked and
for
everything.
sure.
Live from Maple Leaf Gardens is the
Yep.
Toronto Maple Leafs against the Los Angeles Kings.
Anyway, if you have not seen Peanut Butter Falcon, Eddie and I both highly recommend.
Yeah, it wasn't. You might be saying like I've never even heard of that movie because it, and I probably wouldn't have watched it had it not been for the. And I don't
Star
mean
of the
this.
film.
Yeah, I don't mean this in a joking way, but the special casting
Right.
of the movie. And my wife and I, we don't have a lot of movies that we both enjoy together. And I was like, yeah, Swayman with a very nice save. And I thought this movie, she's going to absolutely love this. And I'm interested in seeing it. So I remember I made a special, hey, we got to watch this movie. And you probably told me about it.
I'm certain I did because I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. All right. So 3-1, 7:06 to go in the second period. Pretty impressive by the Bruins after a nice start from the Rangers. They were able to withstand that and have been the better team, I would say, since. Although it's close, it's been a close game.
Yeah, we're a goal away from having a hell of an ending here. But if there was just a great opportunity for the Rangers, a rebound came right out in front. But if that's going to happen, it was on the right stick. It was on Matt Riffin's stick.
The Bruins just almost took a 4-1 lead. That was close.
Yep.
So they dodged the bullet on that one as that shot was wide of an open net.
This has kind of been the problem. This game is an indicator of what we've seen from the Rangers all year, though. Not enough offense from the elite stars, guys like Zibanejad, Kreider, Panarin, Fox, guys that they're expecting to be regular offensive contributors. Not enough from those guys. And then not enough timely saves and big saves from Shesterkin, who they also expect that from on a regular basis. So just a little bit, 1 or 2 goals less from their high-end players, 1 or 2 saves less from their high-end goalie, and you get what we have right now, which is the way he wants it.
Well, he gets it.
And I don't like it any more than you men.
Another great movie. Come for the hockey, stay for the movie talk.
The old movie talk. Although Peanut Butter Falcon's a recent film. Shia LaBeouf is in Dakota Joshua, at least, or Dakota Joshua. You know you're a hockey fan when.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson, both active in their career.
Once we get a stoppage and play, we'll go back to any comments. I was going to say, Adam Fox, I've heard there was some talk about maybe even trading him this year. How far has he kind of fallen, it seems, from his Norris Trophy winning season? I mean, I don't watch enough Ranger games to know that answer to that, but I'm kind of curious that
He's
I did hear
enough that he is not what he's worth.
Yeah, I wonder, did he just have kind of career year that year? I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but was
No,
that an
he'd be a
anomaly?
great
Or
addition. He would be any team would be over the moon to get him right now. He's a right shot defenseman that is very good in all three stages, very good in all three areas. He would be great, but he won that Norris Trophy very early in his career, and that became the expectation of this is a 100-point kind of guy.
did he cash in shortly after that as well?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and it's just he's not at the level of Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, Miro Heiskanen kind of thing. He's just that
Werenski.
level below. Yeah, Werenski. He's not at that level. He's just the level below. And I think because he had that year with the Rangers, that's what the expectation is every year. But if he went to a new team, that expectation wouldn't be there. And they'd be like, I can't believe they got rid of this guy. He's amazing. Because if he can give you 60 to 70 points a year, you're absolutely delighted. But when you're expecting 90 to 100, well, you're going to be disappointed.
All right. 4 minutes left here in the second period as the Rangers are trying to put a little push on here and make this a 1-goal game going into the final period, which I would like to see. Obviously have a good game.
Yeah.
Even though I'm technically rooting for the Bruins in this one. Not really, but I've been assigned the Bruins goal horn and I celebrate their goals just because.
Celebrates their entire catalog.
That's right. You must really love him. The look on his face.
He won the Norris Trophy in 2021. And as I look back,
Adam Fox, that is.
Yeah, that was the abbreviated season.
We have a penalty here? Yeah, I believe we have a penalty here.
So he's been exactly what he should be. He had 47 points in 55 games that year, won the Norris. He followed that up with 74, 72, 73. He's exactly what he is. He's a 70-point guy a year, and he's probably on pace for that again. He's got 40 points in 50 games. So nothing wrong with him. And if they want to get rid of him, I know a team out here in Anaheim that would love to have him.
Well, that's a tough call. Will Borgen called for a trip on Morgan Geekie, and that was a tough trip and call. I don't agree with that. That's a no call to me. But it was called on the ice by the people that matter, and so power play coming up for the Boston Bruins. We have a stoppage in play, so that means we will recheck the comments. Socket to me also brought up a name from that Maple Leafs team, and that, of course, was the netminder Felix the Cat Potvin, who would later go on to be an LA King.
Yeah.
And he wasn't bad for the Kings. He was all right. Julius has checked in.
Hey, Julius.
I assume that's our guy Julius, who you and I both know personally.
Yep.
Nice to see you, Julius. What else we got here? Driss says, I earned the money for that Clark jersey as a kid by mowing lawns in my neighborhood for the entire summer. So much sweat equity in that thing. Wearing that until the stitches come out. Do you still have that jersey? And if it still fits, then huzzah to you. Well done. A Wendell Clark jersey. My sister had a Borchevsky jersey, probably the only person other than his immediate family. That was from Jarith as well. Doug Wilson says, wearing a Leafs Clark jersey to games, is that part of your sentence? How many more years do you have left on it? Wow. Which former NHL coach was in the movie Slapshot? I know the answer to that.
Bruce.
That's right.
Boudreau.
Old Gabby Bruce Boudreau. Let's see. Kevin says, shortly, quick story about Peter Zezel. After the movie, Zezel talked about how when the Flyers would come to LA, Rob Lowe would stand between the benches yelling at him. Coach told him that he needed to, we're going to continue that. Needed to, where's the rest of the story?
Blow your horn, Eddie. Blow your horn.
Blow the man down. Why are you shaking your head?
We've heard it.
Well, Boston has scored on the power play. David Pasternak has his second of the game. Oh boy,
I don't think it was Pasternak.
It wasn't?
Zacha.
No, it wasn't Pasternak.
Pavel Zacha.
It passed through the crease, hits a skate, and then Zacha happened to be the guy there. So
right between the arm and the body of Shesterkin.
Yeah, Shesterkin obviously not expecting, trying to play the pass, and he's moving, and then it hits something and goes to a different direction, and that's obviously tough on a goalie. So 12th of the year for Pavel Zacha, and it's 4-1 Boston late in the second period. Rangers need an answer here, or early in the third, or this one may be over.
Michael Sardi asks if he says he's a Sens fan who still has not forgiven the Ducks for 2007. And he asks me if I have forgiven the Devils. Eddie, do you hold a grudge against the Habs, or was that before your time? I do not have I have forgiven the Devils because the Ducks won the cup after that. I don't really, I can understand why you would still hold a grudge because the Senators have not won a cup. But once you do, that sting certainly hurts a lot less. And so I'm not a fan of that Devils team or that era. I'm not going to go back and rewatch it, but I don't carry any ill will towards the Devils anymore.
Brad Marchand on a break-in did not score. He is very upset that he did not get a penalty call on that, as he felt he was slashed as he broke in on net, and he wasn't.
No.
But he's complaining. He's telling the referees, look up at the scoreboard. I mean, very marginal if they would have called that to me. He
that
didn't
wasn't
get his
a slash. It was a hook, if anything.
I mean, he got it. It's one of those ones that maybe he got his stick parallel into the body very, very, very quickly and briefly. I thought that was a good no call personally.
Looked like he just took a run at somebody too. There at the end of that play. I think we got a penalty behind the play.
One second.
Yeah, you little punk ass. Go sit down. He went and took an absolute run at somebody, probably Vakanainen, who got away with the penalty, and that's going to carry over. That's the Eddie Garcia carryover power play,
which rarely results in a power play, is my unscientific observation. But there's still plenty of time left for them to score.
1:20, and yeah, he decided to go out of his way to hit Vakanainen, and after the puck was gone.
That's a stupid and bad penalty.
For a guy with a letter on his chest.
Yeah.
That's not leadership. You got a 4-1 lead. You're trying to let this team back in it just before the intermission.
Because of your personal gripe with a penalty that wasn't called. I mean,
right.
That's awful. I expect better out of you, Nose.
Oh, right in front. Whoa, somebody just went flying like they had a voodoo doll with them.
I was going to share something, but the actions going on the ice completely made me lose what I was going to say. So I'm sure it was nothing that important. Rangers, kind of taking a lot of time working things around here.
Yeah, looking for the perfect play rather than just throwing it at the feet and trying to get a...
You're down 3 goals, boys. You're down 3 goals. Put it on net.
And you're running out of time in this period.
Yeah. Way too fancy here.
Oh, double screen, and Swayman still makes the save. JT Miller in front of the net.
I see Trocheck. How did you like the TD Garden when you went and saw a game there, Mr. Stolhand?
I thought it was very generic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How about the area? Anything about the area around it? It's got that.
I mean, it's basically downtown, so very busy, and then all of a sudden you're at a hockey arena. and we took the subway there. I loved getting to and from the arena, but nothing memorable about the arena that stands out. It's of the ones I've been to, it was probably the least memorable.
Fair enough. I have never been to Boston.
That statute of limitations has to expire soon, right?
I think so.
Yeah. That's the end of the second period. 4-1 Bruins. I think they should leave Marchand in the penalty box for the entire intermission.
I think they should as well. That was what a bad penalty. My God. Really bad. Oh. All right. So obviously a very comfortable lead here for the Boston Bruins. Not an insurmountable lead, but just based on the way things have gone, and not only in this game, but on the season, would be surprised to see the Rangers be able to come back in this, but we shall see. That's why they play the games, I'm told. Doug Wilson, we're going back to the comments now. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The question was about, do you still have bitter feelings? And I absolutely still have bitter feelings about the Montreal Canadiens because of the Marty McSorley stick measurement thing. And just what a cheesy... I mean, look, I'm obviously coming from it from a certain point of view. But for that stupid thing, and you could say Marty McSorley was an idiot for having a stick like that, but I guarantee you he wasn't the only guy on the ice who had an illegal curve on his stick. But for a Stanley Cup final game to be decided by something kind of dumb like that does absolutely leave a bitter taste in my mouth for the coach of the Canadiens at that time, the illiterate Jacques Demers.
Well, you wrote him a letter that told him off,
which is a true statement. The man literally was illiterate.
And he just thanked you for it and went about his day. You're like, did you read what I just wrote? He's like, yes, of course, every word.
And if you're a Canadian fan, you're like, the man is paid to do anything he can within the rules and maybe without the rules to get the result. And he did his job, and that's probably true. But apparently the story goes that they illegally went into the Kings locker room to look at their sticks to see if anyone did have an illegal curve. Although you probably could tell if you just looked at it. I don't know. It could be a lie, could be a tall tale. I don't know. But I still am bitter about that. I will be honest about that. I am bitter about that.
Well, he didn't read the rule book. He was told. I'm sure they got tipped off, but the thing is, I think you could probably call that on pretty much any game. I think that's one of those things that you could flag somebody for it for pretty much every game.
And it is weird that has gone away. That nobody, I think in the history of you and I doing the Puck podcast, which is in our 19th year now, I don't think I've ever recalled someone doing that. I don't know if they did away with it or if it's just not done anymore. Or if
I think now the equipment managers make sure that they adhere to it. Or if not, I would absolutely call them on it. 100%. If I knew the guy, JT Miller comes over and says, hey, by the way, Brock Besser uses an illegally curved stick. Okay. We'll file that away should we ever play them in an important game. I'm not going to do it in a regular season game on a Wednesday, but I'm absolutely going to do it in a playoff series like they did against the Kings.
I'm just reading some of the comments here.
Eddie asked us earlier, so I will ask the audience watching. Of these two teams, the Bruins and the Rangers, which one or both, or neither, will make the postseason?
All right. Doug said, cue the chant of Potvin sucks when I brought up Felix Potvin, but that was, of course, the wrong Potvin. And I don't know if Doug was serious about that, but that was Dennis Potvin that the Potvin sucks chants were about, not Felix Potvin.
He stands by it.
I may be wrong, but I'm standing by it. Let's see.
I said Potvin sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he could, it doesn't say Dennis Potvin on the
Yeah,
chant.
the
It's just
whole
Potvin.
family.
Every Potvin of all time. Joseph says the thing about Adam Fox is that he's awesome all around, but not godlike offensively like Makar and Hughes. One of the better two-way defensemen in the league, though. Then Doug says, I'm not sure that Potvin sucks, just not as much as the Islanders one. And then Jarith says, not many shots for either team. I guess he's talking about the game. How dare you talk about the game in this chat, Jarith?
He's right on that, though. I think the shots total, as I look at this, through 2 periods, 18 shots for the Bruins, 13 shots total for the Rangers. Woof. Jeremy Swayman only made 2 saves in the second period, Eddie.
Wow, that's living well.
That means if you and I were in net, they would have scored 2 goals. Although I tend to think they would have shot more often.
Probably so, especially
from anywhere.
Well, me too.
Yeah. Speaking of pissing themselves,
Julius says, Doug, tell us all the old school stuff you've been watching and recommend to us.
Oh, that's a long list. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, honestly.
Yeah, good.
I have a very specific group of things that I enjoy watching. And I would not recommend anybody go back and watch Alice or Kate and Allie or Mrs. Columbo. But I like watching that old stuff. So
this is from Doug Wilson. Doug recently watched this movie called The Jazz Singer. He's stunned. It's got people talking in it.
Wait a minute. What the hell? Talkie?
Chris says it's great that an Islanders legend lives rent-free in all Rangers fans' heads. I'm sure there are Ranger fans who chant that and don't even know what it really means, but it's just that's something they chant all the time, so they just do it.
Yep.
Jarith says, as a kid, I had the foresight to buy an adult large jersey. It was basically a dress when I was small, but I knew I would keep wearing it. Well, that is a smart young man. That's why you're a doctor. Yes. Julia says, should this intermission be used to solve today's puckdoku? Sorry.
Oh, now we're talking.
Do that. That's good. That's a good idea. Especially since this game may not be competitive in the third period. Let's see what else we got here. Doug asks, where's Big Lou and Chris? That's a good question.
Yeah.
I could text Big Lou and ask him where he's at.
Yeah,
and
where the
Chris
hell
too,
are you?
by the way. Text both of them. Julia says, anyone else have original 6 team on TV fatigue, even if it's different rosters every year? Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Although we've talked about things like having an original 6 team in every damn Winter Classic because they feel like they have to is fatiguing, I would say.
Yeah.
And Doug Wilson basically just said exactly that in his comment here. Chris says, as the Bruins get further ahead in the game, Marchand gets more punkish. Yeah, well,
that's true. He figures he can get a little bit more, but save it for the third period. Take a number and save it then. The end of the second period, bad time.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the puck doku.
Well,
let's
do the comments first because we can save that for the rest of the game because I don't know that the game's going to be that good.
All right.
Let's just get through the comments. Julius wants to know, have you named the chickens yet? And I believe you said you were not going to name them, so that's not going to happen.
Right.
Eddie, can we get a Herbie or Cam moment, or would he start barking if you lifted him up? Oh, he's not in here. Usually he's sleeping.
He's with Big Lou and
next
Chris.
To me. Let me see. Oh, this is such a. So we have a bunch of dog beds. We bought Addie a new dog bed because she's kind of a bigger dog, so we got her a bigger bed, and she's sleeping in it back in the corner here. And I've got Herbie's normal bed is right next to me at my feet, and then there's these other 2 old dog beds I just stacked over in the corner to get him out of the way, and he's sleeping in those. So if he comes over here, I'll pick him up and put him on camera.
Has Herbie ever gotten hyper?
Yeah, anytime you say the word FOOD.
Would you say then that he went bananas?
Sure, you could say that. I wouldn't say that, but you could say that.
I don't recommend that either. I've never seen any of the Herbie movies.
I did when I was a kid. I even remember going to like the drive-in movie and seeing one of them.
I
Which
mean,
one I
that's a
don't know.
perfect match drive-in movie for a talking car movie.
I guess so. Then there's some discussion about watching the Detroit Columbus outdoor game. I'm planning on watching it. I'm interested in seeing
Yeah,
that.
that's an actual good game. Unlike the
Um,
Blues Blackhawks.
Doug Wilson says not a fan of the Wings being in it, but can't control that. He says he probably will watch the game with the new hosting site. Julia says Maple Leafs will never win the cup in our lifetime, so the least they can have is to host those. Ha ha ha. Christopher says time for Eddie to go get his cookies.
Uh-oh.
Meredith says to Doug, did you forget Montreal is still a part of Canada and not in the U.S.?
Me?
I think Doug Wilson, not you.
Oh.
And Doug Wilson replied, Montrealers say it's not a part of Canada. Winky face emoji. Montreal will be the 52nd state after Greenland, says Chris. Doug Wilson says Bruins barely scrape into the wild card.
That's replying to which of these two teams will make it. Yep.
Christopher Style agreed with that. Julia says Bruins, because as long as the Maple Leafs are contenders, Boston will always be around to be their boogeyman or bogeyman. Drith says, can never forget the non-call for high sticking by Gretzky in the Leafs conference finals against the Kings game 6. Yeah, that was the Kerry Fraser. Still gets crap about that in Toronto. Drith says, of course, the Leafs will win the division and still play Boston in the first round of the wild card. And we have now caught up on the comments. So we can do Puck Dooku. We can talk about
all right.
news.
Then here we go. I will use the crowdsource, the Puck Doku challenge for today. We start with, I need 3 players that have played for the Carolina Hurricanes and or the Hartford Whalers that have had 20 assists in a season, 30 assists in a season, or 40 assists in a season. And the more obscure, the better. And as I look, the player must have been on the team the season that the stat was recorded. So it can't be somebody that had a cup of coffee with the Hurricanes, but then went on to have a great season with somebody else. They had to have had 20 assists in 1 year with Carolina and or Hartford. Same with 30 and 40. And then we'll do the same thing for the Red Wings and the Bruins. But let's start with Carolina Hartford. And Eddie, read out some names when you get them.
All right.
In the chat.
Joseph checks in with a good stat on JT Miller. He has scored 2 straight games for the Rangers, 2,533 days apart.
Yeah, his last game with them and his first game back.
Very good. That is a good one.
Yep.
Socket to me cake says, what's a drive-in? Come on, you know what that is. Even if you've never been to one, you know what that is.
Yeah, they've shown them on TV and movies often enough. Eddie, what movies did we go see at the drive-in? What double feature?
Oh, I know one of them was Fled.
That's correct.
Which was bad. Lawrence Fishburne and one of the Baldwin brothers.
Yep. Who was the female lead in that? She Alone was worth watching.
Was it Ava Mendes?
No.
Was it Selma Hayek?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with her. 2 escaped convicts come along with Selma Hayek. The movie should have gone in a drastically different direction from then on.
I'm sure there is a movie like that out there available. Doug Wilson says drive-in abandoned areas located across the U.S.
That was a double feature, though, Eddie. Who else? What else did we see that day?
You have to give me a hint.
It was a comedy.
Kingpin?
That is correct.
Wow.
That is correct. And what movie did we turn our chairs to watch from across the drive-in rather than continue watching Fled?
Yeah. Was it like Armageddon or something?
No.
Was it a Jackie Chan movie?
It was. It was one that did not require audio.
Well, I mean, it's an action movie, right?
Right.
So,
Jackie Chan. So you can watch it from a distance and not hear it and still figure out what's going on.
The things that are stored in here, it's just crazy that I remember that. Was it Rush Hour?
No. It was his first debut. It was his first American film.
Was it the one with Owen Wilson?
No. There was no American in this.
No, I don't know.
Rumble in the Bronx.
Okay. All right.
And we used your boombox as the audio.
What's a boombox?
And we had the folding chairs and a cooler with some snacks and sodas. And that was a great time, man. We should have done that more often.
Yeah, we had a drive-in movie theater in the little town I grew up in. And some good times. Drive-in movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got any answers for Puck Doku, Eddie?
Julia says Jesper Fost for 20.
All right. Let's take a look here. Jesper Fost is correct.
Kevin says Ron Francis.
For 30 or 40, Kevin.
That didn't say.
All right.
Julia says Justin Williams for 30 for Carolina.
All right. Let's take a look.
That's
almost certainly correct. That is correct. And I will try Francis for the 40.
Mark Howe was also a guest from Julius. I think that would be more.
That would have been a good one. But unfortunately, Ron Francis has already been submitted. Our next team is the Detroit Red Wings. Same thing, 20, 30, 40. And then the Boston Bruins. And we can potentially use some of the players on the ice right now.
Christopher Style says a drive-in. That's what they have. A Sonic and an A&W restaurants. Mm-hmm.
That's that is a different type of drive-in. You ever been at one of those, Eddie? You ever driven into a place where you eat in your car and they come out and serve you?
Yeah, we did it in Arizona, I think, at a Sonic.
Oh, I don't need to hear that.
You asked. A&W.
Good for you guys.
I used to love going to A&W back in the day and get the old Frosty mug. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have to look, and I probably will now, but I can't remember the last time I saw one of those A&W restaurants. May not exist anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not one that I would be seeking out at this stage in my life, but it would be a delicious
Why not?
treat. That's not good for you. You don't feel good after you eat at places like that. I've gotten off that.
You've eaten at Arby's. I mean,
sir, let me explain. I've been eating a lot better and a lot healthier for many years now. So when you go back to that crap, you feel it. When you're in the moment, when you're on that on a regular basis, it doesn't bother you. But if I went back now to eat at Arby's, I'm sure I would enjoy it as I'm eating it, and then I would regret it.
All right, I'm looking at the A&W locations. Oh, wait, this is Canada. Why am I getting A&W Canada? Maybe because they knew I was watching hockey, and I don't know. A&W Canada. Founded in Lodi, California, A&W restaurants, by the way. Just saw that.
Oh, well, then there's certainly one still in Lodi, right? The original?
Don't know.
There's still a Hot and Now, Eddie.
Oh boy. Now there's a place I never ate at.
In fact, I'm going to ask Dustin Burns, because if he's still with us watching, because he's in Michigan. Have you ever eaten at Hot and Now? And how far are you from the last remaining location, which had I known, I would have gone to eat at while I was in Michigan for the football game last fall.
Well, apparently there are no A&W restaurants in all of Southern California, which is insane. But there's one in Tulare and Exeter, which are Small towns in Central California. We have a goal.
JT Miller, instant dividends, baby.
All right. Well, very early on here in the third period, we have a goal.
The power play was still going. It's rare that you see the power play start a period and they score on it, but
It is.
that was the case.
JT Miller in front of the net with the deflection on the Panarin, on the Zibanejad shot.
Zibanejad, yeah. And there were two guys, him and Kreider, both need to figure that out because Kreider's like, hey, man, that's my bread and butter.
No,
you get your own spot on the power play.
I don't think he's going to complain too much.
They can. They should have given Brad Marchand a high five as he was getting out of the penalty box.
Yeah, I hope they at least said something to him.
Yeah, thanks. You
appreciate it.
Yeah. Let us know next time your nose has been out of shape. Hey, get it, guys? Because he's got a big schnoz.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. Yeah, that was. He's definitely to blame for that.
Was it technically on the power play? Or yes, it was. It was before he got out of the box. So back to a somewhat. Oh, there it is. That's the game. Throw your hats on the ice. No, that's just the second goal for Pastrnak.
I'm doing it now because it annoys you.
That's a good friend. David Pastrnak with big boom. The one-timer slap shot from the point, man. Absolutely blew right past Igor Shesterkin. He came in with the Linda Ronstadt, blew by you.
Oh, thank you, Rex John Buccigross.
No, that's a Rex Hudler.
That sounds like something that Buccigross would say, though.
That was a Hudler. You're pumping me. Oh, easy. Remember when we met him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, outside an Angels game, and we said, hey, Rex, we went to Fresno State as well. Oh, you guys are pumping me. Oh, hey, take it easy.
That fires me up.
What are you doing?
I was trying to play the song.
That's okay. Trying to give Jarith the
oh yeah.
You know. You gonna beatbox for us? Make up some lyrics, Eddie. Go for it.
The Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins scored a goal again and now lead 5-2.
Lyrical genius. Regular Burt Baccarat.
Takes a while to get going, doesn't it?
I could just see him in the booth. Well, now that YouTube's going to take this down for copyright infringement.
It's live. They can't. It's live.
So much for the on-demand portion.
Yeah, I'm sure that blows up. Yeah.
The pride of Boston, Dunkin' Donuts. I got to tell you, I've been to Dunkin' Donuts. I've tried them many times. I don't get it. Their donuts aren't that good, and their coffee's not that good.
Otherwise, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well.
And I saw a Winchell.
I mean, isn't Starbucks the same way?
Starbucks has got good coffee, but they don't,
I'm not a coffee drinker, so I can't speak intelligently.
It's fine. I haven't been there since 2017, but last I was there, it was fine. And they got a line out the door, so that indicates people are enjoying it. But at least they're a coffee shop. The Dunkin' Donuts, and your donuts aren't very good. How do you screw up donuts?
I really don't care for any of the fancy donut places. Krispy Kreme, not a fan of.
Oh, Krispy Kreme is
I
fantastic.
don't. We used to get them free at work, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Oh, hook me up.
Not a fan.
Oh, those are delicious. Donuts are some of my favorites.
I'm all about the mom and pop donut shops, the little place down the street.
Yeah, I'm. Those are very good as well. I don't discriminate when it comes to donuts. I do have a pecking order.
I don't know, they're just too sweet for me. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
They're just too sweet for me. I don't like them.
we got a power play. Brad Marchand arguing.
Maybe things will get interesting here.
Is it a power play or is it an icing?
I mean, would they argue that much about an icing?
Well, they're talking to the linesman though. Peter Laviolette could not look less interested.
Adam Enstrom for the Rangers was injured at some point in this game and apparently will not return, for anyone that cares about that. Not many, I'm guessing. No disrespect intended. And Michael Callahan.
He's the one that took the puck to the face.
That must have been really bad then. Jeez, you usually see those guys come back.
7 men on the ice.
Too many men on the ice for Boston.
Yeah, we'll let you get away with 6 for a second, but 7? Let's see if the Rangers can get another power play goal and get back in this thing.
Maybe we'll see that JT Miller hat trick after all.
Oh, that would be something. Chris Kreider's telling him, stay away from down low here.
No, you could be more than one. More the merrier.
I'm not talking the full design, but what elements would you insist on being on your goalie mask, Eddie?
I've never given that any thought at all. So, I don't know. Probably some Star Wars thing would be on there, I would guess.
Oh, what a save by
Woo! Amen. There was Kreider in his office.
Yep, that's why Miller's saying that's why I'll take over down there. What Star Wars? What do you got? The Rebellion logo or a Jar Jar? I know you love Jar Jar.
Yeah, probably like maybe some kind of bounty hunter thing. I don't know. Really haven't given it any thought.
We'll give it some thought and let us know on the show tomorrow.
I'm sure I will give that a lot of thought. Oh, shot on, save made.
Man, Rangers are very good at retrieving pucks. I will say that.
They've had it in the zone almost the entire 2 minutes here.
Oh, Swayman, perfect. Perfect right there.
Still 45 seconds left on the power play.
Second power play unit coming onto the ice. Not nearly as, they really top loaded that. When you've got
this situation,
Kreider, Zibanejad, Miller, Fox.
In this situation, why not leave them out there for the full 4 minutes? I know they're tired.
4 minutes?
Yeah. Or 2 minutes. I'm sorry, 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Oh, Kreider has had enough. It says that stick is to blame. Just destroyed it on the bench.
Huh. Wonder what that was about.
That goal that he didn't have, that great scoring chance he had that he didn't elevate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Frustrated player. And a good clear by the Bruins.
A good craftsman never blames his tools, somebody once said.
Yep, that's never been the case for anybody, though. Everybody that's building something or doing something, well, that's my fault. Certainly not the hammer or the screwdriver. I won't get frustrated and yell at an inanimate object. This second power play unit stinks.
Another reason to leave the first power play unit out there for the whole time. They can rest after you scored a goal. Figure it out.
Well, they're out of the box and damn near scored a goal.
Ooh, yeah, nice save by Shesterkin to keep minute. And if you're a Bruins fan or if you're Joe Sacco, hey guys, let's say we stay out of the box here for the rest of this game. What do you say?
Remember, folks, fight cancer by going to getbodychecked.com. According to the ad on the boards, get body checked against cancer. That Body Checked would also be a great name for a hookup website.
Oh, hey, hockey fans, there's an NBA game coming on later we don't care about.
Yep.
But they're going to promote that. Nice jacket, LeBron.
That is what it is. I've never understood the arrival footage. Look, here's a guy walking through a nondescript hallway. I assumed he got there. You don't need to show me to prove it, nor does that prove anything. That could have been taken 5 weeks ago. That could be him walking through the arena in Memphis as he's getting ready to play the Grizzlies. Are they still the Grizzlies?
Yes, they are. All
right, I need some Puck Doku names for the Red Wings and Bruins.
Julia says Alex Del Vecchio for Detroit for 40.
All right.
He also says Philip Hronek for 20.
He's on a roll.
He says Gustav Nyquist for Detroit for 30.
Three for three. I need some Bruins.
He says Barry Peterson for the Bruins for 20. For 40, I'm sorry, for 40.
For 40. Barry Peterson. Holy mackerel. It's a black and white photo.
He's got Wayne Cashman for 30 for Boston.
That's another black and white photo. My goodness.
Former King great Joe Corvo for 20.
9 for 9. Total points 27. 20 of those were by Ron Francis.
Kevin has told me to stop. Oh my Eddie, stop. I don't know what that means. Maybe he was offended at my saying
you're
Krispy
singing,
Kremes.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what he was. Yes, that's definitely what it was. Yeah. Doug Wilson says we used to call donuts fat pills at work. Okay. Julius wants to know, does Yum Yum Donuts make the cut? Not for me. Not for me. Doug Wilson asks who or what is Yum Yum? It's a donut place. Doug Wilson says he would have Monty Python characters on his goalie mask. Okay. Says,
I like that.
Ministry of the Silly Walk, Patsy from the Holy Grail, and Brian's mum. And the Black Knight. There you go. Julius says, Eddie, what is the Diet Sunkist count at so far? On the day, I think we're on number 3 right now.
Wow.
I've been up since 8 o'clock. So
still, that's 3.
I'm on number 3.
You going to make it to 5?
Yes.
6?
Maybe. Julia says my pick of choice is the Zero Sugar Canada Dry. All right. Kevin says, Doug, Eddie, you can put the Force is Strong with this one on your mask. I like it. Doug Wilson said, Eddie, I thought it was Fanta. No, it is not Fanta. It is Diet Sunkist. For the good folks that want to sponsor the podcast, we'd love to have you. And not just with free product.
I was going to say, I don't want them as a sponsor because Eddie would insist on being paid in product.
All right. I think we're caught up on the comments. We return to the game. We resume our regularly scheduled programming.
Well, there's something you got to be a certain age to remember.
A lot of things, yeah. Dial tones.
Yeah.
The other day our internet went out. And I'm like, my God. I'm so reliant on the internet.
Oh, I mean,
The phone, the computer, if you're
especially
streaming on
you,
TV.
yeah,
Yeah.
like literally everything you do requires for entertainment requires the internet.
Well, and oh, by the way, that's my job right now. It's
Yeah.
posting something on the internet. So
Oh, how the hell did he miss that?
I do not know, but there was a Bruin who had an empty net and somehow did not score. Puck comes to the side of the net. He's right there. Shesterkin is lunging from his left to his right, and I guess he hit the side of the net. I don't know. We'll have to see the replay on that. But probably should be 6-2 Boston at this point. But
Yeah.
it's not. So we got about 10 minutes left to go in the game, and just want to thank everybody while you're still here for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We enjoy doing it, which we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't, because we're not getting paid to do this. But
Here's how they missed that shot. Oh
yeah,
no,
let's see.
this is the Swayman save.
Oh yeah,
But here we go.
off the bar.
Oh, he just whiffed on it. Got into his feet too much. Connor Geeky could not get a good shot off.
And again, we will certainly post this on social media and we'll talk about it on the show. But next Saturday, 1:00 Eastern time, Red Wings Lightning will be our watch party for next week.
And while you're here, if you haven't already subscribed, of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give a like. That always helps the algorithm recommend our channel to other people that like videos similar to you. And there's a bell that you can hit if you would like to get notified whenever Eddie posts his Puck Podcast Hockey Minute or Puck Podcast Instant Reactions, the Puck Podcast show itself, the first period, or you can be notified when we go live with a watch party like this. And we're back in the game.
I don't know about back in the game, but we'll see.
2 goals with 9:13.
Well, okay. Sing the Rangers goal song.
No.
Hey, 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 hey.
Again, lyrical geniuses.
It's catchy enough.
Yeah, it is.
It's a goal song. All right, so that miss by
Geeky coming, yeah.
Seems a little more spotlighted now. That was definitely going to be the dagger.
Yeah. See if they can goad Marchand into another bad penalty.
I even think he's not that stupid, but we'll see.
I mean, he's licked people.
Well, who hasn't? I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't think during competitive action, though.
Well, depends on what kind of competitive action you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
Hey, we got basketball coming up. If you didn't know. Do you know who that person is, Doug, that they're showing right now? Any idea?
No.
That would be Hubert Davis.
Okay.
Former Tar Heel star, NBA player, and now the head coach of your North Carolina basketball team.
There was a time.
There was a place.
And not only is that a great Guns N' Roses song, but there was a time when I would have absolutely been looking forward to a North Carolina Duke basketball game.
Me too.
And that time is long since passed.
Yep, same here. How old do you suppose Danny DeVito is? As we watch
Mid-70s.
a commercial with him in it for a sandwich. Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah.
He's still getting work though. Good for him.
The most unlikely
Yeah.
superstar in Hollywood history.
Well, superstar is a little strong, but I mean, for a hell of a career though.
He's been the leading man in multiple movies. He's had a career that's lasted 50 years now. He's been on multiple successful TV shows as a star. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Not an attractive man.
No, not an attractive man. Not that great of an actor. He's just good at playing that role.
Yeah.
And when he strays from that role, it really exposes that, oh, this is not enjoyable. Jack the Bear. Remember that one?
I do. I didn't see it, but I remember that he was the star of that movie. I know you were a big fan of it.
I was. I saw it. The 8th time I saw it in the theater, it really lost its luster.
He is 80 years old.
Wow. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
And God knows his family is trotting him out there to make as much money as he can before he passes.
You remember his first movie? It was a classic.
His first movie was,
and he was not the star of it. He was
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Correct.
Yes.
That was a great movie.
Yes, it was. Oh, was that in? Good Lord.
I don't think so. I think that was off the post.
Dinah, blow your horn if you got a goal there, goal guy. Goal guy. It's the official role of the NFL goal judge.
NFL?
NHL.
I don't think they have those guys anymore anywhere, do they? There were a few that were kind of holding out for a while, and then they
don't. It's all in Toronto now.
But for those who may not remember, they used to in NHL arenas have a guy that would sit right behind the goal, and he would signal the goal if the goal was scored. Would turn on the lights.
He had a little glass cage that he sat in to separate him from the crowd, and he just stared at the net. And if he saw the puck go in, he was the one that physically hit the button.
Hell of a job, man.
The goal light. Yeah.
All right, 7 minutes. The Rangers to get another one here and make this one really interesting. Oh, we've got a Herbie. Herbie is stirred out of his bed. Where, Herbie?
Oh, you coming to get the rest of my teeth?
Oh, here we go. Here is little Herbie. Hi, buddy. How are you? How you doing? Do you have a good nap? Yeah. Okay. Say hi to everybody. Say hello.
Heidi ho, everybody.
All right.
God, no. I've got so many more years left to live.
So there you go. There was your Herbie sighting. Don't pee on anything for a few minutes until this game's over.
You talking to Karen?
No, I'm not. Funny man.
Although that also goes for her.
Oh, I'm looking at Danny DeVito's filmography here. He was another movie that was one of my all-time favorites, L.A. Confidential.
Oh. He's been in very good movies. He's had a very good career. It's just like I said,
yes.
Unlikely.
No, I agree with you. Did you like him as the Penguin in the Batman movie? Mr. DC?
No.
All right. Fair enough.
I thought it was too. I'm more of a while I like the comic book worlds, I like the ones that are grounded in reality a little bit more than that. That was pretty silly for him to be that much of a penguin. I like the Colin Farrell a lot. That was an excellent version of the character.
By the way, he may be gone by now because we're getting late to getting the comments. But Josef says it's midnight in Sweden, and this middle-aged man is alone with kids for the weekend, and he's got to get up at ungodly hours. So he's calling it a night and says, "Thanks for the live stream." Thank you, Josef, for joining us. Good to have you again.
I hope they are your children, Joseph, and have a great weekend. And thank you for joining us. Otherwise, we've got a Gary Glitter situation on our hands. Boy, these pizzas look good in the ads. I do love me a pizza.
Kevin says that it's been fun. He says he can't watch the game or you guys, but he is listening while he's at work. Have a great weekend, everyone. So thank you. That's fine.
All right. Thank you. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left. 5-3
Barb
lead for the
checks
Bruins.
in. I don't know if that's my mother-in-law or not, but Barb's probably not. Barb
I
says,
highly doubt
just
it.
noticed you went over 1,000 subscriptions. Congrats, guys. Thank you, Barb. And if you were
Thank you, Barb. Where are you listening or watching from, Barb? And who is your
Socket
favorite
to me
team?
says, speaking of Danny DeVito, Taxi is one of the best sitcoms I've ever seen. That one where Jim Ignatowski is doing the yes, God,
Driving test.
one of the greatest scenes of all
Yes.
time.
Yeah. Literally, the direction was keep going until the audience
And
quits laughing.
that was a while.
And they did. Yeah.
Let's see. People are like glad to see Herbie. Julia says that's what I've been waiting for. What a cutie. More treats, he says. We've had a couple of Throw Mama from the Train references.
That's a good one as well.
And Russell says the WWE Royal Rumble is up next. All right. I'll enjoy that.
Not on my TV.
I will be watching more hockey, as I will be watching the Kings hopefully score a goal and, God forbid, maybe get a win, as they've had a very difficult road trip that they're wrapping up today in Carolina against the Hurricanes. So that's going to be another tough one, but we'll see. 4:36 to go in our game. 5-3 still. Boston in the lead. At what point, if you are Peter Laviolette, do you pull Shesterkin for the extra attacker down to Mr. Stolhand?
3-minute mark.
I would say that's about typical.
They've already burned their timeout, though, so they cannot get their star players some rest. That's unfortunate.
A bit refreshing, I would say, that the NHL has not gone to adopting more timeouts, considering it's one of the, there's many things I do not like about the NBA, but that is a big one. All the damn timeouts they give in basketball. It's
the end of the game is
deflection on net. Swayman, though, makes the save. But yeah, but I will also say, I think that NHL coaches don't use their timeouts enough. There have been, I would say, just watching every King game that I have, I would say they've probably called their timeout less than 10 times for sure on the season.
Yeah, it's a definite weapon that coaches don't use. I think they keep it in the chances in case they need it, and then they never need it. That never comes around, and they burn it. I would absolutely use it every game, almost every game.
I agree with you.
Especially like just before a power play, if my top line is gassed, I'd rather get them rested and reset than potentially wait for it later in the game. I mean, I'll trust my players to make the right play later in the game. But if it's a big moment and I need a goal and I got an opportunity, I don't care if it's first, second, third period. Let's go. If the guys need a quick rest, that's the time to use it. Pasternak going out for a potential empty net hat trick.
Interesting looking assistant coach there on the Bruins.
Lobot?
with glasses. Looks like a young guy too. He's interesting. He is completely bald and looks like he's in his 20s, but I'm sure he isn't.
Let's see if time for trivia, Eddie. As we just looked at Peter Laviolette, name the NHL teams that he has been the head coach
There's
of.
been a few. Obviously won a cup in Carolina. Was in Philadelphia. Was in Nashville. How many more do I got to go? Obviously, New York Rangers.
2 more.
Peter Laviolette. Capitals.
That's correct. 1 more.
Uno Mas. Have they all been in the East? Oh, that's right.
You named Nashville, so no. Empty net for the Rangers.
Left. They've pulled Shesterkin.
Yep. It's about right. Face off in the offensive zone. I'll give you that.
Last one for Laviolette.
Immediate face-off win for the Bruins. And David Pastrnak. Get out your hats, folks. Now, I'm not saying I know more than Peter Laviolette. He's a far more intelligent man than me when it comes to hockey, when it comes to coaching decisions, etc. As Eddie takes us back to a youth hostel in southwest Germany.
Yes. Your comments, yes. I'll stop it. It's clearly annoying you.
Yeah, you've been that music is about as welcome as a cold sore at a singles club. But by all means, don't stop playing it. My comment is, when you're going to pull the goalie, I would wait until you have possession. Tell the goalie, as soon as we have possession of the puck, come on off the ice and we'll get somebody out there for you. When you do it before the face-off, it's exactly what we saw here. You lose a face-off right up the ice and it's in the net, and that could have been prevented. So that would have been my
18th hat trick in the career of David Pastrnak, second most in Bruins history, to a guy that Doug and I worked with back in the day, Phil Esposito.
I listened to him call a game the other day for the Lightning. I still love it. I still love it. Shoot it!
You and I differ on that.
What's he doing?
If I were a Lightning fan, I would absolutely hate him.
He's not offering great analysis, but it is like sitting. It's as close to just sitting down next to Phil Esposito.
I don't want to do that either. I like Phil, but I don't want to watch a game with him where he's just yelling, shoot it, and oh my God. Yeah, what happened? I'm on the radio. I can't see. You got to tell me what happened. Jeez.
Well, that's what Dave Mishkin does. Dave Mishkin does a great job. Look, we don't like his goal celebrations or his goal calls, but other than that, he does a great job on
He does. I agree with you. He does a very good. He has a good call, but then when there's a goal scored, you're like, Jesus.
Yeah. Take it easy, man.
All right, let's. This game has obviously been decided. We've even had the old hat trick there. So wrap up the comments, and we will say adios here soon.
What is an ESPN Plus power play?
Is it a show they do, maybe?
I don't know, but 3 of the upcoming Bruins games are on the ESPN.
Oh, by the way, who was the final? Who was the final team for Laviolette? Columbus. Oh, the Islanders.
The Islanders.
Doug Wilson says last 5 minutes of basketball takes last 5 minutes of a basketball game takes an hour. That's pretty much accurate. 3 billion timeouts per team. It's not good. Um,
NHL Power Play is basically the name of
okay.
center ice.
Chris
I
asks
didn't
that
know
the
that.
Kings beat Carolina for him. I'll do what I can, Chris. I don't think if I had it in my power. Let's see. Oh, did we see did we get a check in from Barb? Where she's from? Looking. Oh, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And no relation to Eddie. So it is
Beautiful.
not, it's not my mother in law, Barbara. Very nice. Good to have you, Barb. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Says they got over 6 inches of snow. First, yep. She
In
says over
Myrtle
6 inches,
Beach?
first time in over 20 years. Doug Wilson says that he saw that
Wow.
Charleston and
No
Savannah
doubt.
had snow. Chris Stiles then also.
Wow. I have been to Savannah, and I never would have thought that would be an area
Yeah, I
for
saw they were
snow.
like skating in the streets of New Orleans like last week or something. There was ice in the street, and somebody had their ice skates out there skating in the street, which was really interesting.
That's wild.
Let's see.
I didn't know vomit and urine froze over.
Now you know.
Yeah. That's a
Yes,
commentary
Bourbon
on
Street.
the
I've
filth of the
I've never
streets of
been to
New
New
York
Orleans.
or New Orleans.
Barb says
Neither have I. I don't really have
Barb
much
says
desire.
good thing most of the local residents down here are transplants from New England, so we knew how to drive. Says we don't have the shovels though.
Yeah. I imagine it wasn't long lasting. You know, it melted fairly quickly, I would hope, but that's amazing. I would not
Sock
have
It
thought
To Me
that.
Cake says, has Doug ever had aspirations of being a writer on a sitcom? He loved your welcome as a cold sore in a singles club line.
Well, yeah, of course, but I never pursued that. I've had many people tell me that I've wasted my career not being in live television and production and that kind of stuff, and I'm not going to disagree with them, but it's not something I ever pursued or had the opportunity to pursue. But I watch a lot of sitcoms, and I watch them, and I think I could have written a better show than this. There's no doubt about that. So maybe someday. But I'm glad you
was that
enjoyed
an original Stolhand, or did that come from somebody, come a movie or TV or something?
That was a cleaned up version of an
Okay.
original Stolhand.
Well, as the final seconds tick away. Thank you.
Well said. The man's a professional
We say
talker.
thank you for joining us for this watch party as the Boston Bruins have defeated the New York Rangers by a score of 6-3. And with that victory, momentarily at least, the Boston Bruins have moved into a wild card spot in the East. I don't believe they've moved into the third spot. Actually, they have. They have. I'm sorry. I was looking at Tampa Bay. So right now, Boston has 58 points, and that would put them into fourth place in the division in the Atlantic, ahead of Tampa Bay. And as far as the wild card goes, they would be past Tampa Bay and into the final wild card spot in the East for the moment. I'm pretty sure the Lightning are playing later today, and they're at home against the Islanders. So we'll see if the Bruins hold that spot or not. But obviously, an important win for the Boston Bruins.
Our 3 stars of the game. Number 3 from your hometown Boston Bruins. Number 18 in your program. Number 3 in your hearts. Pavel Zacha with a goal and an assist. Gets the 3rd star of the game. Number 2 star from the New York Rangers. Number 8, JT Miller. They don't bring him out to wave his stick at the crowd and take his applause. But the number 1 star with a hat trick and in a 4-point night, David Pastrnak.
There you go.
25 shots from each team. Obviously, a very solid night from top to bottom for the Boston Bruins. They were up to the task defensively in the first and then took over in the second and third. So well done by them. And both teams suffered an injury. We will look and hopefully update something with information in tomorrow's show when we record it for Adam Edstrom. If there's any update on him, he only played 4 minutes and 22 seconds of this game. And Michael Callahan, who only played 5 minutes, 49 seconds of the game for the Rangers and Bruins, respectively. Until next week's game, when we talk about the Red Wings and Lightning for our watch-along party. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for allowing me to consume my oranges and fight off scurvy. And I hope you're able to join us again next week or in the future. And thank you again to Eddie for joining me on this.
Hopefully you will all be tuning in to this week's Puck Podcast, where we will talk about all the trades that went down, and who knows, maybe still will go down later today or tomorrow. And of course, all the games from the past week in the NHL. Looking forward to talking with you about it. And Doug, thanks for joining. Next week, again, Red Wings, Lightning, 1 p.m. Eastern for our third Puck Podcast watch party of the season. Until then, again, thanks for joining. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good rest of your weekend.